G'day, well, Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined this morning by Algared, or good evening and or good night, depending on where you are in the world. It's morning and for us, and I am scatterbrained as hell, if you can't tell.
You are scatterbrained. You're very scatterbrained. You said that 3 or 4 times, and I've got to agree. You know, you forgot the camera.
I have a lot of shit on my mind. Yeah, I hadn't even turned on the camera.
Mind you, I'm not feeling that with it myself. I'm still struggling to get the things I need to get done completed before I can start worrying about holidays and stuff. So
we're down.
I think we're both in the same boat, aren't we?
Yeah, we're down to crunch time for a lot of this stuff, and with what Argo and I are trying to do, there's a lot of moving parts. And we're trying to we've taken on extra things at the last minute as well. We'll talk to you a little bit about that today as well.
Yep.
What we've got planned.
Yeah. And hello, A Hughes and Bain Media and Red Samurai and Chris and Lena Maria and Jeff. All of you guys on YouTube. Thanks for joining us, and hi.
I'm a bit quiet, am I? Oh, wait, there you go. That should fix that problem. We'll see how that goes. I'm quiet, am I?
Yeah.
Jax has come up and sat on my hand again. That's always helpful. It's just off camera. You can't quite see him. He's just sitting there in a pain in the butt.
It's a wonderful Saturday morning here.
I wouldn't use the word wonderful, but it is a Saturday morning. I'll give you that.
It is a Saturday morning. It should be a nice clear day, nice spring morning.
All right, so we're gonna have to go over yesterday's ISC as well. That was a really big one. Oh no, cat's out. Sorry about that. Cat sat on something. My bad. I don't know if that cut the audio.
No, we heard it all.
Naughty boy. Oh, you would have heard it, but they might have had the sound cut off. I don't know. It went to. I don't even know where he went to. He sat on something and it went to some scene I haven't seen in years. Yeah, you're gonna have to get that, buddy.
And the bot.
Oh yeah, the bot. Oh, we'll get that going right now. Thank you very much for reminding me. So that's another thing. I'm stressing about that. How am I going to get the bot working?
Yep, because we do need to get it for our third person, don't we?
Well, I've essentially got to. That's what this next week's going to be for me. It's essentially taking this entire setup I've got on this PC, making it portable so I can use it on a foreign laptop in a foreign country.
But we also want the bot so that I think it's Paul who's going to be kind of backstage for us, isn't it?
Yes.
In the States,
that's what we're planning. So
that's the current plan.
Yeah, we'll see how it works. This interaction failed. Why is it failing? I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to restart it. It just keeps saying it's failing. That's the first. I've never seen that before.
That's for the bot?
Yeah, I was just typing in the command and it's
God help us if it's failed and we've got to do it the old-fashioned way.
God, what's going on now?
So apparently your audio is cutting in and out.
Really?
A couple of people on YouTube are saying that.
Let me check my audio real quickly.
I didn't think it was, but you know.
I'll see. Everything's right that end. Everything is coming through totally fine, unless it's just where my mic's positioned. But I haven't changed anything. Yeah.
No, other people are saying it's fine. Others saying it's fine.
All right, bot's working. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. 9 times out of 10, before you jump to the conclusion it's us, check your own, because it's almost always that. Almost always.
There's always a good chance, but it is.
Like you get that one guy going, "Oh, your audio is totally stuffed," and then you find out, "Oh no, my phone's been run over by a car." You know.
Not that we're saying that that's what was being said in that case, but yeah, we do get that. People will say, "Oh, your audio is hopeless. You can't hear you. It's crackly," and it's like, we've checked everything.
Yeah.
And then over time you find out, their audio was. Their headphones were chewed on by their dog, or
Just check yourself before you interrupt the entire show. Yeah. Thanks. It's fine. Yeah, we know you mean well, but trust me. Check your own first. Just a common courtesy would be nice. Right. Right.
I think
What
it's
do
I think it's also them toying with you because it niggles you and gets you frustrated.
well,
Trust me, he doesn't need any more help.
yeah,
I do a great job of keeping him frustrated.
There's a lot going on in the background. Agrid, your mic is a little. Are you? Just double check that your mic is set to the right output because it sounds like you're talking through something else to me. Unless I'm hearing.
Does it sound like this one?
Ah, you're on that one today, right?
I don't know. I'm checking.
No, it is
Did
that one.
like...
It is that one. That's what's wrong. Yeah, because you went up real. Well, everyone else will confirm. You went up really close, and it was definitely that one. So you're set to the wrong output. That's what that one is.
Oh, no. Try that one again.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay, so what do you want to go first? Of the things that we talked about only about 5 minutes ago. You're muted now. You're pointing and talking, but I can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
Now I can hear you. That was weird. Okay. All right. So what do you want to talk about first, or should I just pick something?
Oh, let's say Chris comes in. He says there's a lot about engineering to talk about, and there is.
There is.
So this week was, I think, an absolute blinder.
Yeah.
There was so much that was dropped, and it was nothing like.
Well,
I don't know about you, but
the last two SICs would be the longest ones we've ever done when we've kind of like gone over them. Like both of them were twice as we looked at them after we recorded them, and we basically said I think one was 16 and the other was 17 minutes long. And the episodes were like 48, 51 minutes respectively. We didn't we essentially tripled them.
But it's also like, and I don't want to speak for you, but I got the impression like everything in those videos was nothing really new in terms of what CIG was saying. It was all
some of its
stuff
parts.
They've been saying for everything they've been saying for so long, and it was just now we're seeing it all get put into place, and that was the nice bit. That was the new bit. But all the bits and pieces in isolation, they were nothing new.
Yeah, for people not watching and just listening, I'm nodding my head. Yes, I totally agree with you, Algared. Griffin Gaming RPG. Thank you, Griff. How you doing? 29 days before we meet up. 29 days? Oh, yeah. We're leaving sooner than that. For me and Algared, what's that?
I leave on the 3rd.
So we've got this stream, another one, and another one. So we've got 2 more streams after this one, and then we're out of here, type of thing. And we'll do some on the road. We've kind of planned for that, haven't we, Algared?
Well, I'll be leaving on the 3rd of October, so
I'm going to give Griff a like. Thanks for that, Griff.
That's when I disappear. So yes, and thanks for that super chat. That was most appreciated. Always accepted. Always loved. Always all of that lovely stuff, but never ever expected.
That's kind of what I'm looking forward to most, to be honest with you, Algared, is meeting up with everyone. All those faces that we've seen on the screen. Does Griffin actually wear glasses? You think all the little things I want to know.
All the little things,
Yeah, and then I get there and he's wearing like super big glasses just to trick me. Or something.
What? Come on! What shampoo and hair conditioner do they use? Is it floral?
Okay, that's a bit too specific, Algared. Are you going into their hotel rooms, you creepy old man? No, don't do that.
No, look, I haven't had my overcrack this morning, so that's my excuse.
That's fine.
But it will be great to see you at the con. Maybe we'll have to yank you in one of the early mornings just for a breakfast.
Yeah, we're going to be talking to people left, right, and center, I'm sure. But I don't know, what we have planned is probably going to be a bit different from what people expect to. We really want to bring the home audience along with us because we've been on the outside for so long. We really want to try and do it a little differently. So that's what we're going for. Oh, man, they're doing that thing again. That hype train thing. It's going, it's doing the, you could see it. It's doing the thing.
Oh, yep.
I don't know. It does disconfetti. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, there's lots of pretty things on Twitch and it gets very distracting.
It does.
Yeah. Thank you. Who was that? Dedalos_GR. Subscribed at tier 1. Subscribed for 3 months. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
But one of the things we've kind of tossed around is like even doing, the breakfast type gathering of talking Star Citizen with people or
like
doing dinner type things or so.
Well,
literally taking the whole journey.
Well, we've never seen anyone kind of like stream it beforehand from the on the floor type of thing. We're intending to do that. We had to spend some serious money to get internet. We've actually got internet at the place, like at the convention. We went to the convention hall and said, how much does it cost to get internet from you? So we've got internet there, so we'll be able to stream from the floor. You know, we're gonna like talk to the crowds outside. We were even tempted. This is how crazy it got. We didn't. We're very tempted.
We didn't.
We had to talk ourselves out of it quite a bit because we really wanted it. We were going to get a drone, and we were like, we wanted a toy. And we were like, no, this is too far. There's just one here too far, because then we could have like flown it over the crowds and stuff like that. It would have been kind of cool to get like that footage, and then we were like, no, that's just a little too crazy. But the drone we were getting was a brand new one. It was cheaper than most. It was half the price of most drones. Would have been about, what was it, 540 Australian dollars, and we talked ourselves out of it in the end.
It took us a bit. It did take us a bit of talking to talk ourselves out of it.
Because like we can see the benefits of it, but we were just like, do we really need this? Like, how far is the line? So we kind of took that out.
Now, JD 4472 says, "Please, guys, we kicked you out to Australia for a reason."
Yeah.
I can't. I'm still a POM. I came out with a, of my own free volition. So, well, actually, no, I didn't. My parents came on their own free volition.
So, my mum was a history teacher too, Algared. You probably didn't know that. I've never shared that with you. But during the week, she was telling me all this shit that she's found out about my family. And it turns out on my dad's side, I'm actually a first fleeter. And that's an elite club. Apparently there's a club in Sydney you can join. So I'm gonna have to get the card just so I can...
The
official config.
First fleeters are seen as, unique. But, So, yes, Execute was sent for a reason. Yeah. That's why he's down in Tasmania.
Well, no, but Mum actually went through even further, said the types of people they were sending were the perfect people to send. And I don't mean criminals, right? Even the women they sent, right, on the second and third fleet. Mum was going into details. She was like, so these were people that were, like, absolute survivors in London because they were stealing food to live and all that. That's the type of people that you need in Australia, because you needed to survive here because it's a freaking wasteland. But yeah.
People actually often get annoyed at the church, but one of the suburbs in Sydney is called Glebe. Massive, fairly large Sydney suburb. It was land that was granted to the church. One of the reasons it was granted to the church is the first chaplains, so Marsden and Johnson, they were among the best farmers in the colony. So their farms were actually doing a lot of good stuff. So, well, depending on who you speak to, I suppose, but for the Europeans, they were doing good stuff because they were farming and being successful.
Well, Mum's done so much tracking, right, with this stuff. She was able to track it down to the very first boat that came aboard at Tasmania, and this boat was like, the little dinghy things, like the small boats that they have come off the side. It had 15 convicts on it. My ancestor was one of those first 15. So that's how elite it gets. Like, it's the elite of the elite. The first board above.
If we're talking Tasmanian, that you really are a criminal.
Well, again,
that was the worst of the worst.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Sent down to establish the a penal colony down in Tasmania because they were so bad and causing so much trouble. So and we've our little train has
it's more confetti. I don't know what that means.
Hyped itself.
Who did that? Thank you for the bits, Afro Snowman. He did 300 bits. He did 100 and 200. Wow. Vorta Snocken subscribed at tier 1 as well. So yeah, a couple of you. Thank you very much. I don't think I missed anyone.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do miss the Twitch stuff quite a lot because we're
Well, we'd never really set it up to do on-screen things because we were a bit worried it was going to interfere with each other.
Yeah,
so to speak.
And Afro Snowman did do 300 bits to get us to that tier.
Yeah. I read that already. That was the first thing I said. Yeah, it's all good.
So anyway, there's lots to talk about apart from you being a criminal.
Criminal history.
One of the,
but anyway.
yeah. So we've got quite a few questions, and we've got a half a dozen or so questions have popped in already, so that's good. So keep them coming. The more you do, the longer we'll stay.
Yep.
And without me keeling over, I hope.
We've also got you also got a few from yesterday's ISC as well. So
I did.
Do you want to talk about
yesterday's ISC, and I was going to pull one of those out because.
Do you want to talk about those first, or do you want to do the sales?
I think we'll just
do the sales later.
Spread them through.
Okay.
But I did think I'd do one of them first because one of them
stood out to you.
Was a question about the ships. Yeah, it was Kishkin 8743 said had engineering makes the Reliant fighters more valuable with 2 people, and I kind of edited it and said, does engineering make the Reliant fighters more valuable with 2 people? So I'll put that to you. What do you think?
Well, again, we don't know where the components are placed in that thing. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like they haven't done the component things, or I haven't been in it since they've done it. Have you?
I haven't, but you'll remember the Reliant is the one that turns.
Yeah. But again,
cockpit, but when it's in the vertical mode, you can't access the back.
Oh, that's true. But the point I was trying to get at is the components even inside. That was my whole point.
Yeah. So if the components are in the back, and I haven't checked that, I thought
you'd have to
based
go
on
back
the way it was, I'd have thought I thought some of them would have been.
Yeah, you'd have to go back into horizontal mode to access them. I get
you'd have to go in horizontal mode to access them, and so if you wouldn't really be able to do it in combat. Could you have someone in the back?
Yes, you could.
In vertical mode, and then still be walking around.
Well, you could always transfer back to horizontal, quickly get out, and then go back to vertical.
Yeah, but then if you're in vertical mode, are you walking around on the ship normally, or are you? Is your orientation screwed up? So.
No, it'd be a separate physics grid, so it wouldn't matter.
Do you have your gravity plates or whatever working for you, or are you stuffed up?
Well, gravity doesn't change if you think about it, because it's always top to bottom, because when it turns vertical, the seats turn to face the gravity.
Yes.
So the gravity... No, think about it. The back doesn't change. It's the front that changes.
The back changes because the wing, isn't it?
No, it doesn't. Think about it. Right. So when you landed like this, so this part here's the back, this part's the front. You get in the chairs, and the chairs rotate.
Yes. It's the wings and the chairs that change, not the cargo section.
Yeah,
it's just you can't access cargo section from.
You got it.
When it's in the vertical. So you say you could do that.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if the engineering section was at the back as well. But then you'd have to choose between, do I have my turret gunner working, or do I do...
Yep. All right, that one's skipping the line because I know it's going to come up a few times, and it's a new person, so we'll talk about it. So first-time chatter, Rum Bandit said, question, at what point do you think engineering gets in the way of itself and causes people to revolt? And this is the thing. All the negative content creators out there have jumped on this because anything negative gets shit tons of clicks, right? That's just how it works in our society as a whole. Negative news travels faster. This is not the sky is falling. This is actually better for multi-crew. This is the meat and potatoes of this game, and it's nothing new. That again, as Algared said at the start, like it was nothing new for him at all. And anyone that I'm sure Griffin could speak to this as well, because I know Griff's been around for a really long time, and he was in chat earlier. Griff, if you're there, give us your thoughts. And anyone that's
I'll go as far as saying, Griffin, if you want, jump into a channel.
Yeah, and
join us on voice.
Yeah, give us in voice. They hit another level thing on God, what's this? Open a chest. Yeah, some kind of thing popping off on Hype Train level. And
All it. Thank you for that $1.99 super chat on YouTube.
Yeah. So to go back to your question about the revolt thing, it's not going to happen. This is always planned, and if anything, it kind of brings all the other ships that are not single seat fighters up. And this is why we've always talked about don't buy fighters. It literally, because we saw this coming, right? And anyone that has done their research, as lots of you guys have, that's why you guys listen to us, because you're researching. Why would you listen to us otherwise? We're freaking
Otherwise, we're crazy
ugly,
people.
crazy head people. You know, we're on Twitch right now. Everyone else is playing the game. We're just talking about it. It's still bizarre to me. But
It blows. It always blows us away. You know, like
yeah.
But yeah, it really is that.
Real quick.
Very,
Sorry, All thank you for the super chat, $2. I just noticed.
yeah, I did that.
Oh, you did. Sorry, by that. But all right, go ahead.
But it really is an issue where people do look at it and they say this change is going to be horrendous and disgusting and wreck the game.
Yeah,
it does have an impact on the single seat fighters. It limits them. It really does say they're not going to be flying across the verse and doing anything. It really does tie them to their carriers or their motherships. But it also does things like brings in armor. So any of those ships, even the small ships, the heavy fighters, will suddenly have their heyday against the light fighters. So you'll start to see that time to kill that long fighters have versus the other things. And then one question that we don't know the answer to yet is how will components change that? Do the components add or modify the longer, how long it takes to kill your ship?
And all those ships that we saw on paper that looked the same are not going to look the same.
Mm. And so it really is a lot more than the sky is falling. It's actually the sun is rising.
Yeah, if anything, it is like the way they're calling this a negative is just insane to me. It's you want that complexity. That's simple to understand, but complex to master. And even they're just listening to them and the way we were talking and realizing like the ships that appear the same are going to be different, and every little component is going to add a nuance to your ship. Engineering is huge. Like to learn every ship in the game and how the engineering works, you would need to hold every single component in your head. You would need to hold all the stats of almost every single. It's almost impossible.
But even when they were talking about the presets, and they said, and Disco came back and said, "Can you have a preset that you got for your ship and go to another ship and put it in?" And said, "Yeah, well, because it's linked to your computer. So when you go in." And it's linked to your character and the things you've set up. So when you put the preset in, it'll go there. But if they've got different components to you, you'll have to fudge around with it and to balance it.
Which answers that question that we were asking, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It kind of gave away things that I don't.
So A grade to D grade will have an impact. Civilian, military, racing, and will have an impact. So there's so much welfare, and
then you're even going into how old it is, how damaged it is.
Yeah,
it changes again.
So that was a huge thing. I think people like me who have lots of ships will have a problem in learning their ships.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you'll know, I may know all my ships, but I'll never know them as well as, say, Joe Bloggs, who's only got a Redeemer or a Reclaimer and knows it like the back of his hand. And that's where an engineer will really earn their salt, I think, when they know their ship back to front, inside out, know what the best component, know what the best things are. And that's not even talking about the little modules we can put in to enhance our components. There's just so much coming.
I wonder where it goes too. Like, do you get a person that's just specialized in combat engineering? Do you get a person that is specialized in just small industry ships? Do you know what I mean? Like, so when they're putting out their kind of resume or their player rating system that they've talked about, do they say, I specialize in this, and this, but I'm willing to take anything, but this is what I'm good at? Like, it's gonna be really interesting.
I can see it. I dread it, but I could see on comms, looking for a Madge, looking for a healer, looking for a Polaris engineer, looking for a.
It's going to be a pain in the butt because you actually are going to have to sit there and read what they're good at. You can't just go, level 5 engineer, bang, because they're quite a wide gamut of what they're going to know. And if this is engineering, I start to think like. Because only now we start to see the depth of where they're planning this. You take that and apply it to medical or whatever. Yeah. Pick the gameplay and you kind of go, shit, this is going to be huge, like across the board.
Well, and I can see someone saying that's only if CIG adds the depth of skill expression in engineering. That skill expression de facto is already there in what they're doing.
Sorry, Sparkplug in chat just brought up a really good point. Finally, an in-game use for Spectrum. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that because then you can see their resume or whatever. Yeah, that's a good
Well,
point.
they did also talk, but they wanted Spectrum to be in there. But Death Factor's gone about this only works if CIG really do add the in-depth skill expression for engineering. The fact that every component's going to change a ship, the fact that you need to know that ship inside out and back to front in terms of how to get to the places quickly, the fact that you're going to need to make sure you've got your the equipment you need to know how to use that equipment, that already is putting levels of depth into that engineering play. Can they add to that? Sure. Will they go as deep as they can? Maybe not. But yeah, it really is. It really, I think there is that depth. It's just let's see how deep they go.
The other thing that came out for me as well as you was just the kind of reinforcement of how short range single seat fighters are going to be. Like you can't get out and repair them, or you have to get out to repair them rather. You can't, if you don't have cargo, you've got no spare pieces. Like it just became really, really obvious. Even like a starting ship, like let's just say a cutter or an Aurora or something that's got internals, has just so much more survival value all of a sudden because you're not just you can do things, and we knew this for years going in, but it's just like again we'd connected a lot of dots, but like all that negativity over the years, and I hate that, like it's like we told you so. We worked this out ages ago. It's not about us being right. It was always about trying to warn people. That was all we ever were wanting to do. Like, if you don't believe us, that's on you. You know, what do we get out of it? Nothing. You know, it's not like I told you so moment. It's just cautioning people.
I think the one bit of new stuff that I do recall coming out of that episode was the fact that absolutely, damaged components can be repaired, but not up to 100%.
Yeah.
And I think that makes sense for the single player ships, the little fighters that get damaged their soft deft. They are flying, you by yourself, there's no one there. But if you've got your multi-tool, if you've got the materials, you can actually at least repair it up to a point where you can move off. And so I think that kind of gives that balance of survivability and turns it into a survival game in many ways. Like the resource management in keeping your ship going really is a survival game. It's very much like Alien in some ways, I think.
Yeah, I also kind of would like to hear a bit more about the repair from the repair ships, but I think we'll hear that in time. We'll probably hear more about fabrication and stuff at CitizenCon, but the way it was kind of explained, like this is all the hand tool repair. What do you then get from other ships like the Vulcan and the Crucible, and that's the only thing I can think of. They are able to bring things back to 100%. I think they said like stations and stuff to the hangars because that's not in game yet, right? So I think eventually when they come in game, that's the proper advantage of full repair is that you can, and that makes sense because how they talked about the salvage tool and stuff like that, how you have to, when you repair, it's like a patch job, but if you want to get it fully repaired, you've got to take it back to a station. I think that's the difference, but again, I'm connecting dots and it's not confirmed, but it makes logical sense if you kind of think it through. What's the thing that separates those ships from everything else? The ability to be like a mobile station repair. So
yeah. Another one of the things that I saw come out of the show in the discussion, I've just got to see if I can remember it again because I've just
it's happened to me 3 times.
Throw it away, throw it away as you were talking as well, and no, I forgot it.
All right, it'll come back to you in a minute. It always does.
It'll come back. It always does. At some
point,
and
he'll just go like that.
Yeah. Welcome, adventurer.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Do you want to do another question, Algared, and then we'll go look at the sales that are there too? Just real
right.
quickly.
So, Bane Media says, "What do you think about the Reclaimer changes? How will it impact the new engineering gameplay, and will the Reclaimer get good armor?"
So, I assume he's talking about the component changes. That's really just pushed it into a capital. Real, like you know how there were so many people going, it's not a capital, and we would always be, well, it only has to have that one bespoke component, and it makes it a capital. But now they've just pushed they've just pushed all the other pieces up to be capital, so it's just confirmed it's a capital. The other thing that really came out of the video for me, though, taking what that person has said there, was some of the ones that have gone smaller now have buffs. Right, and what I mean by that, like, well, if you looked at the big thing was that size 3s can't be taken out and worked on. They have to be worked on in place. So things like the Redeemer, where initially it looked like a drawback, you can now take them out and modify them and then put them back. Where before that would have been this really big component that you could never move. So there's things there that are going to be pluses and negatives. Like, can you just be a complete ass and keep 6? Can you have 2 spare shields in the cargo bay there that when they burn out, yeah, exactly.
Quickly jump out and swap them around. Yeah, speaking of that, there's a comment that came in about the power plant. The power plant. The comment was the power plant. Malfunctioning becomes a warp core breach. A big boom.
Yeah.
If you've got a size 3 power plant, you can't pull it out and toss it out your ship.
Rum Bandit, I'm just noticing you're dropping a lot of messages on Twitch, dude. If you actually want to get on voice, man, get into the waiting room on our Discord, and we'll put you in. Because I actually think you've got some valid points to say, and if you've got a mic, I'll definitely bring you on and we'll talk about it. He's just talking about how he had a bunch of friends join the game and basically leave, and I could. Yeah, totally. We've talked with people like stuff about this before. And Rum Bandit, man, if you've got ships, people are going to turn up to Chrome. But the game's not live yet. You got so many more new people that haven't even discovered this game, and then when this thing drops, and we all know what it's going to be. Like when it drops, like there will be people that come flocking. It's just look at how you've only got to look at how they reacted to the trailer last year to see how the potential of this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. And when the game does drop, I hope a lot of your friends will come back, and a lot of the people who have joined and left or said I'm waiting, I hope they'll come back because they'll see what the game is and what it's got. Yeah.
So he was saying he had a lot of big ships, and then he's basically kind of been turning them back into medium and small ships, and that's the inverse of what we recommend. Completely,
yeah. Like I'm probably very much in your boat. A lot of my friends don't like space games. They don't like those people I've talked into joining the game that still don't play, or they don't play. But I've got big ships, and I've got big ships because when I look at the price of the ships now versus what they'll be to how long it'll take me to earn them in game.
Yeah. So
I know it'll take me forever.
So I'll read this one. This is the one that I kind of go, I want to help this person. Because he goes, I had 3 friends who quit already. This is Rum Bandit, by the way. After me pledging a bunch of ships, I've melted a lot of my big ships. My biggest ship right now is a Corsair, and I'm still worried I'll need to melt that one, and then I'll cry. No, I think you'll be fine. And I'd like to know what the big ships you were that you got rid of, because if anything was really ingrained into me yesterday from that engineering episode, is big ships are the way to go. 100%, because the small ships are just not going to go the distance.
They're not going to have that endurance or range.
It's made ships like the Liberator so much more valuable than we originally thought they were going to be.
It's made the 890 jump valuable because it's got a hangar.
Absolutely, every ship that can carry another ship, their value went up, and the Liberator is the cheapest ship that can move other ships. That's why the Liberators become more valuable. And even if you kind of crap on things that you don't like about the Liberator, like how it does 2 things at once, the vehicles and the ships, it would be so much better if it just did ships or 1. We've now got the Assault that can do 4 vehicles. So again, it's made the vehicle part of the Liberator kind of purpose. I do think at some point we'll get one that's just ships. I don't know when or where we'll get that, but that'll be the one that takes over.
It's no different from what we said originally when the Liberator came out. It's a shipping ship, and there's going to be another one that comes out that's even better. Or
well,
I don't think
there's no other ship that really does two ships of that size. Like you can get an Odyssey or a Polaris that does one, but the next ship that does more than one is literally the Kraken. So it's like a massive jump. It's like 3 to 4 times the price, or three with change.
Yep.
And it's just like the Liberator. Again, you can get 2 Liberators, and that does what the Kraken does, and it's cheaper. You get where I'm going, and it takes less crew. But then again, you don't get all the other perks. So it kind of balances out in a weird way. The Liberator, there's a lot of people that shit on it, and I myself included. But like, you look at it in hindsight now, and you can. This is the thing, though. It's like every ship. Eventually, look at the Hercules. When that came out, the arguments that the Inforunners had around that, and I'm talking like Paul and Sear and you and me, and I remember it was an hour and a half of them trying to convince me, like, there is no way. Yep. And I was proven right in time, but because what happened was the Liberator dropped, and it totally changed how the Hercules, their whole theory on the Hercules was it was going to, and I said they only need to drop one more ship that moves vehicles, and this thing is done. And don't get me wrong, the Hercules is still a very good ship. It was just nowhere near S tier like they were touting it was.
Well, when you look at even the Crucible, and it's hangar bay, or it's
that'll do
Scarab.
It too. Yeah,
that's a vehicle mover. How do you know it's a vehicle mover? Because when you look at it, it's got a ramp that drops down for vehicles to come in and out. You don't need a ramp if it's for ships.
No, it's totally fine. It's totally fine, Rumbear. This is an interactive. That's why we do the streams. It's to interact with people. Because like, if we're just here touting on our soapbox, we would be. I really want to talk about Concord. God, I want to talk about that game.
Yeah, I know you want to talk about that game.
I was talking about Algared beforehand. And it came out this morning about Concord. Now, I don't really want to talk about how it failed, because obviously it failed. What I want to talk about is there was one of the developers went onto like a podcast thing, and it was talking about how they had basically what they called toxic positivity, where you were not allowed to critique the game. Can you imagine what Star Citizen would be if they didn't have us giving them feedback? Like, it's made the game so much better. And so to just constantly reinforce people and telling them that they're not making any mistakes, that's why it was the biggest failure in gaming history. And they also came out during this podcast that was $400 million. Not 200 million like we'd all theorized, 400 million. The most epic failure of all failures of all time in gaming. And that's all I really wanted to cover. But like, you've got to learn to take the negative with positive in life. That was my big takeaway with that. If you can't challenge something and it doesn't stand up to criticism, it ain't good.
Yeah.
That's just in a nutshell, no matter what it is.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. It was 400 million. Like, it's getting up the same prices of Star Citizen, and that was Sony with working on games and basing off games they already had.
It also came out that they've funded games, other games that are in development that cost more than that. But I was thinking about Star Citizen. Think about all the criticism Star Citizen's gone through. It's a scam and all that shit. And they've just rolled with the punches, kept moving, kept going. I think, if anything, it made them stronger. Like, just we are not dying. We're just rolling straight through. Like that's why I'm not to bring it back to Star Citizen, but that's why I did want to talk about it. Like, it shows a contrast.
I think it's similar to No Man's Sky. Like, No Man's Sky came out and they made their massive promises. Yeah. They didn't deliver on those promises originally. But
absolutely.
And people call murder and demanded refunds, and they gave them refunds and all the rest of it. But that small team went back and they just kept working on their game, and
heads down, bums up.
It's a bloody good game,
and it shows that kind of Star Citizen very public and forward facing, and then them kind of building from the bottom up approach. Both approaches work as long as you're making a good game. And you get there in the end, it doesn't really matter as long as that the intent is there and it is not a scam and they had good faith. And I think that's what, they got a lot of bad publicity. Let's look, both games have kind of got bad publicity. Star Citizen's kind of gone, under the radar, submarine style, and it's going to pop up with Squadron. Well, look at the trailer, how that was received last year, right? That smacked a lot of people across the faces and they were like, whoa, shit, this is actually quite good, and I think it'll be the same when it eventually comes out, where and then the other, you know, obviously, as you said, No Man's Sky, complete opposite, just kind of came out underprepared, but they just kept pushing through and they got there as well. So as long as you actually have good people behind the game, it's going to work out. By contrast, they both had criticism. You know, everything in life. If it's one of the things I've like. It's a core tenet of Inforunners, right? If you cannot agree to have your mind changed, then you've got no reason to be there to change other people's minds. And it's just something that we'll bring someone in, we'll let them just totally not berate us, we won't go that far, but we will definitely hear them out. I remember, I don't want to use names, but I remember when the Ukraine stuff went down, and one of our viewers was Russian, and he was in there kind of defending Russia. And I kind of came in and I was listening. I said, guys, you got to take it from his point of view. He lived there. He came up with it. So what you call propaganda is just his way of life, because that's what he was born into and that's what he knows. And you've come up in a Western culture and you have your biases. And once they kind of realized that, it kind of made this middle ground and they were actually able to talk to each other. So you've got to just be able to hear other people out. You won't always agree. And that's the big part, agreeing to disagree, but at least hearing the other person out. And it just, man, some of the conversations that this Discord has had, I don't think you'd get that in many other, especially because we've got a more mature environment. You know what I mean, Aaron? You've been there. I'll let you speak to it, but you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. Like, there's some really other things that people just wouldn't touch because it's like a hand grenade. I've seen be able to be manipulated in such a way that you can actually talk about it.
Yeah, I think it's a nice thing that people can talk about issues or topics that normally have fire and brimstone falling down on them because of other things, and I like that. Well, does it mean that everyone agrees with your point of view? Yeah. No. Does it mean that everyone's going to be happy and on all of it? No. But it does mean, what it does mean, I hope, is that you can get a solid discourse going and understanding from different people's point of views. Yeah. It's one of the things
that's how you learn about. That's how you learn about each other, though, don't you? And you don't change someone's mind by stuffing it down their throat. You change people's minds by talking about them, compromising, and fight. Because how many times have you and I gone into a discussion where we're heatedly against each other, no matter the topic, and it's never. So very rarely is it completely one-sided. It is usually we've both got things right and both got things wrong, and it's somewhere in the middle 9 times out of 10, right? And yeah, someone will be more wrong than the other, but it's usually we've got some kind of miscommunication, and it's actually working it through, and you know what I mean.
Probably one of the biggest blowups we had was a miscommunication from both of us.
Yep.
We were both hearing the other person say a totally opposite thing to what they were saying, and
Absolutely.
It was because we were coming at it with passion.
Well, that's the other thing. You put walls up too, don't you? Right?
You know, so
and just having anyway. when we've had these discussions, just having a third person there, though, that it kind of pulls it down too. So it was like that Ukraine thing. They were kind of going at it, and I came in, and it just diffused. I don't know how else to explain that. So yeah, if you're having a hot, like, we even have people that are talking text, right? This is a big thing, right? On the Discord. Text is a nightmare. And I've talked about this before, but like, Lemming is probably listening. He's one of our mods. I know I've had to do it with you. I've had to do it myself. You're having a discussion with someone. And
I think I even had to tell you to do it, haven't I?
Yeah.
Get out of text. Go.
So basically, you're having this argument in text, and because it's all slow-mo and you're just trying to get your points across, it comes off as really cold. It's a terrible medium. So if you're having an argument with someone, I know it sounds weird and it's counter. It's like, I do not want to talk to this asshole. Get in chat, and you'll find it just diffuses it straight away, because you can actually articulate more what you're saying, and it just dissipates. And you'll find it was never really an argument. It was just people were hearing different things, because the way they articulate and say things is different to how you type and say things. And so it looked like a disagreement. And 9 times out of 10, you'll find 80% of what you were talking about, you were actually agreeing on.
Yeah. Tone is the key, and that's one of the things you can't pick up. Like in Australia, you could say, "You bastard." Now, some people would see that as an absolute insult. And it can be an absolute insult, but you've got to listen to the tone.
I would disagree with the statement that Glasssaw just made. He said apple pie is a form of pizza. I would disagree and say pineapple pizza is a form of apple pie, personally, but that's just how I see it.
Yeah, well, I was gonna, I would say that's an abomination, but yeah. But
technically, it's a fruit.
Anyway.
Technically, it's a form of fruit pie. Now I think about it, because it doesn't have any apple on it. So yeah. Yeah. Anyway. See, people are thinking about it. I can hear the fact that you went silent. I know you were thinking about it. Anyway.
No, I'm actually looking at a question.
All right, yeah, sure. Right.
I thought that's enough an excuse. If it's time to go for a question.
Yes.
This was from our video, and it was Ravenx Moon 2087 said, "This is much more of a time sink. Solo players can go to hell, I guess. Too much of a time sink. What do you think?"
All right, sorry, I'm replying to Lemming. As in the engineering is too much of a time sink? Yeah, it was always planned.
Yeah.
And think about it from, like, we talk about things to do while you're in warp. Well, that's the entire engineer's job, the whole way. Maintenance is going to be the biggest thing of an engineer's job. Absolutely.
And I think there's, like, those presets are going to be helpful as well, because you're going to have your combat preset. So, you're going to somewhere where there's likely to be combat, you can actually reset your settings to that and retweak them.
Yeah.
You can do that before combat. But while you're in combat, the engineering role is, on steroids. You're running around dealing with everything. So in one mode, you're making sure everything's running smoothly. And in the next mode, I'm going early, you got cutting, that type of stuff.
Well, the other thing I've just realized is the scale up too. Let's look at it. You're on a Zeus or a freelancer and you're an engineer. That's going to be so different to the team on a Kraken or Aegis or a Javelin. And then it becomes, all right, I'm giving you the orders type of thing, but actually working as a team to get those, redoing the nodes. You remember the nodes, how it's now fuses, but re-getting that rejigged at the right time. The complexity level it's just like dialing up to 11. Yeah.
So does it make, so yes, it is a time thing. Yes, it's stuff that teams will have to do.
But isn't that a game? What a game is, taking up your time and entertaining you.
But it does give multi-crew ships. It does give people on multi-crew ships lots more to do. For solo players, if you're in a solo ship, yes, it is a time thing. Yes, there are things you'll want to repair. If you're in a fighter, you'll want to land and repair stuff. You'll want to go to the space stations and repair.
That kind of shows what those fighters are. If you're breaking down, that's what the Vulcan's coming out to do, because you're not going to have the parts and stuff. They live off the space station. It limits their range straight away. They can only essentially island hop between station to station.
You're limited to stations and bases or carrier ships.
And as soon as you've got any form of cargo hold, part of that's going to be components. What are the components most likely to break? And again, that'll differ from type of ship. And what I mean by that is, are you frequently going to be under attack? Or then it's maybe shields or power plants. If you're mining, it would be mining heads and things like that. You start to get where I'm going, right? You're going to have to pick and choose what you take with you.
Yeah, and for the mid-size ships, yes, you've got the ability to get out and fix stuff and change components out. And yes, you could have those spare components in your cargo, but then that's a choice you're making. Do I take the spare components or do I take the extra cargo? So the choices matter. So it really does become a really valuable thing. Even if you're a solo freelancer pilot, those choices matter. Yeah, you won't be able to repair yourself in combat, but you'll be able to repair yourself after combat, or once you've got away, you'll be able to swap out components if you've got them, you'll be able to repair them. There's so much more you can do. I just think it adds so much more to the game. It really does pick up a lot of the stuff that I did like in Hellion. Hellion was a game in a solar system where you were abandoned and it was a survival game. And it really does pick up a lot of that element.
So JDE4472 in YouTube chat says, Inforunners, but us mid-side captains can straight up swap out components over the big boys. Yep. And I think you've hit on something that kind of connected in my head with what I just said previously. I think a part of that's because of the size of the teams as you go into those bigger ships, they're going to wanting you to work as a team more. So to actually pull out the components is going to be a pain in the butt. But also if they're fixed, it also means people have to go there. So you've got to split up.
Yeah.
And the team's got to work together more. So it goes more about repair. It moves a bit more from being about repairing the actual component to the team working together and knowing what they're doing. So, so I think that's why they've done that, because it's you kind of graduate past that and move into the teamwork thing.
But I think, and that was the point I was picking up from, when I was talking about the mid-sized ships. And yes, you can take out components, but you've then got to make that choice. Do I take extra components, or do I take the cargo? And so, there's choices to be made, and I think it just adds to gameplay rather than limiting.
Yeah, JD
gameplay for people.
JDE 4472 followed up with, "We hope you boys can somehow remove the size 3 components." Yeah, at a shipyard. That's obvious. So yeah.
I hope at some point you can jettison a size 3 or 4 power plant. Because if they go to that critical stage and you can't repair them, that core breach and explosion. Yes,
yeah.
Rupellion.
That's essential. Someone said that to me yesterday? A power plant going critical.
I thought it's you reading one of the comments from.
Oh, that's right, you did. Yeah, so someone commented a power plant exploding is akin to a warp breach. And in Star Trek.
It is, and you get jettison the core and jettison the power plant.
Well, if you can't take a size 3 component out,
then so if you can't jettison and you can't take them out, you're going to have that engineer sitting there with his little gun trying to keep that power plant to that nice safe level. Otherwise, she's gonna blow.
It won't be the captain going down with the ship, but the engineer trying to extend it so everyone can get off.
She's gonna blow, Captain.
Yeah.
I can hear Scotty all the time. Yeah. So yes.
So maybe that is the thing. Maybe certain ships will have. I could just see that there's a particular ship where it's a Drake ship. It's a particular advantage is it can eject its power plants. Why would you want to?
Okay, so Lazarus has a question.
Yeah.
About your favorite ship. So they reduced the shields in Redeemer because they couldn't be removed. What do you think are they going to do about the quantum drive?
I don't think it was really so they could remove it. I just thought, I'm trying to look for positives and negatives of what they've done. Personally, I feel it was like Algared and I said when we talked about it was to go back more to what the original concept was. And it was a highly maneuverable, highly shielded ship. And I'm going to be honest with you, even cutting the guns down, it all kind of leans into that. It did too much. It was fast. It had shields. It shot, and you just can't have a ship that does everything. It's too strong.
And so you either give it back its speed and maneuverability and kill the guns, or you
dial the guns back.
Leave it as a lumbering mass and give it big guns.
And that's not what I brought. I brought a specialized shielded, fast, quick, nimble ship, and it also leans more into the dropship mentality that it was really, you don't want a slow lumbering dropship. You want a quick zip in, drop off, get out. And again, the original concept was 5 to 6 Marines. So again, it's a small dropship, not a large one.
4 to 6 actually.
Yeah, and
4 to 6 Marines or cargo.
But so if you go back and look at the original concept or look at where it is now, I will take the original concept. But what that does do, Algared, is it does leave room for another dropship.
It does.
Well, ironically, I know what you're about to say. We did a Can We Fix It episode that we never aired because it was a bit waffly. Maybe it might be time to get back with Paul and do that.
Do that, Can We Fix It? But
we did it over a year ago now, so I don't know how badly it's aged, but it's sitting there. We've got it saved. We just never ever released it. Actually, we released it. I
think our patrons.
We did release it to Patreon. Actually, I think we did. Someone will let us know. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure in the comment. If you're a patron, let us know in the comments. I'm pretty sure we released it on Patreon. So
yeah. But yeah, I do like the idea of a Redeemer. I like the idea of the original concept, but it also caused problems because I remember people saying similar things to people years ago, and people say, "Oh, but it was never, the next great starship was never a dropship." But you look at the original concept, and it did have that dropship-esque characteristic
Well, it's like that comment there by Just a Riot. You can't have a dropship with your drop seats upstairs. They're not. The module bottom drops off, and instead of the beds, you get drop seats.
Mm.
So that's the other thing. A lot of people don't even realize it's modular. Go look at the modular stretch goal for 65 million. It literally uses the Redeemer as the example.
And the other thing with it is what we've got now is not what was originally designed. What we've got now is what is so that it works.
Yep.
Because the original design, the metrics were out. The beds were too small. So the elements that just didn't work. And when they fixed it, they have done things to make it fit, but it doesn't do everything that was needed. And Next Great Starship was really to find people who could use CryEngine to actually build ships, and it was a recruitment drive by CIG. And some of those people from Next Great Starship are still at CIG. Ellen Batchelor is one of those. So
just really quickly, the code for the pirate doubloons, if you've been following Pirate Week, is out. If you want it, it's posted under a spoiler on the Discord, in the general chat. Please don't post it publicly in chat, because there are people that will probably want to work it out. So if you want it, it is around. People will get it to you if you ask around. But yeah, some people won't want to kind of spoil it. So yeah, if you want to get that, you basically get. Actually, I can probably bring up an image of it. Hang on. If I switch over, where was it? There. You get these two doubloons, or that doubloon. So it's a skull and a Star Citizen logo on the other side. Actually, we probably should talk about this one here then, Algared. We'll transition to this. So Pirate Week. I've got some ships to talk about on sales. The main reason I wanted to talk about this, though, believe it or not, is these skins. Not the new ones, so to speak, but the older ones. So these Meridian ones. Some of the best looking skins in the entire game. And they're only available during Pirate Week. So the Eclipse one, the Hercules one, the Ares one, and the MSR are probably some of the best looking ones for those ships, believe it or not. So probably, again, don't buy it in a pack. And again, even if you don't want them, if you've got credit sitting around, buy them, melt them into buyback, and then you can buy them back at any time. So it just removes that limitedness. And the other thing you do, if you're insane like me, buy 5 of each, melt them into buyback, and then you can give them to other people that want them, which I don't know, maybe it's just a content creator thing, but that's something that I do. So I've always got, if someone goes, oh, it's January, you don't have to wait till October, I can just, or what is it, September, you can get it off at me at cost. So, if you're doing it for friends, if you've just got, I don't know, a lot of us do have credit sitting around, so if you've got that, 24 hours, just buy 5, melt it, buy 5, melt it type of thing. And then they're all sitting there, removes that limitedness. Is there any of the new ones that particularly float your boat, Algared? Because
of the new ones, the only one that really caught my attention was actually the one on I liked the one on the M50.
The M50?
Just because the big skull on the front, just the way it was placed, it was different. It looked.
Well, it's really weird. The one on the Mantis, I think they could have made it bigger. Like, it's got this big place, and they put it back there. The Scorpius one looks okay. The Vulture one's pretty bad because the thing across the top is in the way. But yeah, the M50, it's interesting, except that the canopy eats into it as well. The other thing that's really weird is it's all facing the same direction on these other ones, where, again, if this was rotated around, you'd be able to have it bigger. So there's just, I don't know, it just feels like it was all slapped together very, very quickly. Essentially, someone's made a grey maroon kind of thing in Dataforge, and then just someone's made this skull, and they've just projected it from above very, very quickly. And it's all been kind
it's interesting because maybe the reason I like the M50s is the M50s have been spun around.
So yeah.
So, but yeah, to me it just stuck out.
Yeah, $7 is not cheap either. They're also very expensive for what they are. To put it this way, at $11, wait, am I in Australian tax? Let me double check.
Yeah, we're in Australian tax.
You reckon that's Australian tax?
Yeah.
No, it says I don't know, but
Uh,
but again, the original concierge paid, the rare one was only $10, and that's 11.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's have a look. It doesn't say anything about GST. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. But yeah, so the other ones, we actually have to look at 2 sales as well, because there's also the blockade mission on at the moment. So you've actually got the A2 Hercules. This is definitely seeing a bit of a renaissance now, a little bit, but I still don't think you can justify the price. You can justify it more now with some of the changes, but I again, you can almost get 2 of these for that. It blows my mind that it's double the value just to get some bombs. So yeah. All right, Connie Algared, I think you and I can both kind of get behind that one.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ships.
Yeah, same.
The original Connie.
Yeah.
Back in the days when it was just the Constellation.
Yeah. Corsair, I think that is definitely now with what's happened. Both of these ships actually now with what's happened to the Redeemer, they both retain their size 5 guns, so they both kind of step up quite a bit now. Especially the Corsair, I think it's a bit more aggressive. But again, this thing is if this goes back to its original concept, this is meant to be one of the most maneuverable large ships in the entire game.
It was supposed to be able to fight 3 F-7C Hornets and win 50% of the time.
Well, you know my original reason for getting rid of this? I now have a reason to go get one. Ironically, because they nerfed the guns on the Redeemer, but
yeah,
I don't know. I'll have to have a long think about that.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets it also gets a nerf when they come around to it. But I'll have to wait and see.
I think this has dropped off quite a bit now, the Cutlass. You know, we've got the Cutlass, the Freelancer, the Spirit, and we're about to have the Zeus, and we're probably going to also be getting the Fat Fury. At CitizenCon, if you look at process of elimination. So yeah,
I think any of those medium ships will still have their place and do, especially they're the ships that you can easily Connie down.
Well, it's the cheapest, isn't it? It's the cheapest one. So
you can take them. You can take them solo, but they'll excel with multi-crew. For all of the reasons that engineering is bringing in. But
the
Cutter, that's a lovely little ship.
Can't go past that one. Freelancer Mist. Now this is pretty rarely. This is only other than special sales, this is only ever really sold at Invictus and AIE. So that's you don't see that out in the wild too often, as in for sale.
If you're after the Mist, get yourself an upgrade.
If you are after a Saber, what's the Saber? Not the Peregrine. Shit, I've forgotten the name. The Firebird. If you're after Firebird, get this instead. Get this instead. It does the same thing. Plus, you've got some cargo and all that type of stuff. This is the better way to go if you're after a missile gunboat. Mercury, kind of fallen a bit off now. But again, it'll come around again when starter running comes in. It'll get some reworks and stuff and get fixed up now. But,
I still do not like that ship since you ruined it for me.
Yeah, well,
it
wasn't me that ruined it, mate. I just told you what CIG did.
You just pointed it out, and it stuck out like a sore thumb. Yes.
I have grown to kind of value this ship a lot more. It is a great ship. Like I had 2 of these because when they give us the giveaway ships, we can use them in game. Really good for the cargo right now, but I can't get behind the price. I just can't. It's too expensive for what it is. It is literally $15 over an Avenger. It's just slightly. If it was $5, I wouldn't even complain. But put it this way, you can get a 315p, and it does 12 SCU. This does like 64, so you are getting a lot more cargo. But I just can't justify the cost on that, especially knowing the hull A is just beside it, and it does even more again.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah, I think is it 75 or no? I think it might be a bit more now. I think it's gone.
Okay.
Man, let's just not even question it. Hull.
Yeah.
I
know at the time it was I think it was cheaper. Or
$90 was originally
$90, okay.
60. So you're right. It started out 60. It's now 90. So it's $10 more expensive. For the $10, I would take the whole A. Valkyrie. This is going to come around again, but that whole open to space thing, it shows that it's an inner atmosphere ship. These are going to be interesting because I don't think they're really any better with the changes. I think most of this really comes back to the nose guns. And I'm also going to point out, I think these are probably the two versions I wouldn't get. The Sentinel would be the better one of the three, in my opinion.
I think with the changes, these have gone down because this ship was a ship. You know, the long-range warrior. It's supposed to be a ship with redundancy on redundancy. It's got no redundancy.
Well, yeah,
it's got no
one
backup system. So,
no, only one. It went from 2 power plants to 1, so now it doesn't have a redundant power system, and that's probably the most important system, I think, is what Algared's trying to get.
You know, so the fact that they did that, I think, is just done the ship. And and I know someone else in the chat had said, when we were looking at that, said if you need both power plants, it's not redundant. And they're probably right. You needed, for redundant, you needed to have 2 power plants, so you basically had double the stuff you needed, or one that kicked in when the first one was out. You know, so. But it's supposed to be redundant. It's supposed to have redundancies, and it doesn't.
Yeah, even as we said, even if they because the Sentinel has a medium and a small. If they'd just done that to all of them and maybe given 2 smalls to the Sentinel, it would have been fine. Because at least then they had a small redundant one, so you could drop all the guns and at least have the power to try and get out of there. So yeah, the Ares, it's just the cost. Like you know, we go back.
It's a single stick fighter.
We go back over here. Oh God, I keep selecting things for some reason. So $260 for $10 more, you can get a fully functional large ship over a small fighter, and it's the same for its other brother. It just this is the whole reason to get rid of fighters. They're just too damn expensive for what they are. Wait,
and look, if you look at it in terms of that, like the Ares at 260 versus the Mercury Star. Oh, sorry, the Ares at 250 versus the Mercury Star Runner at 260. How much quicker are you going to make money with your Mercury to be able to buy the Ares in game?
Yep.
Compared to being the Ares owner and trying to earn the money to get the other stuff, and I don't think you do it as easily.
Yeah, and as we speculated, and it's pretty much being confirmed, the size of your ship dictates the size of the missions that you get, therefore the size of your profit. So, yeah, a large ship is just going to make more money than a small. It's just that simple.
Fighter external components.
Yep.
Larger ship internal components. Now, yes, the MSR does have lots of issues, but I just see that ability to, that longevity, that time to kill for those ships versus fighter.
And that'll get fixed. Like, look how much ships have come along. Like, the you know, it's just dropped behind because it's been a couple of years, but it'll get an update eventually, and it'll go to the front of the queue again. You've only got to look at what happened with the Spirit as an example.
Yep, or even the Avenger, because you remember what the Avenger used to look like.
This has been through a couple of iterations.
That version looks really sick, in a good way.
Yep. So yeah, the Titan would be the way to go because of the cargo, but I think that's kind of reflected here why these are both the same price now, because these cargo pods essentially, or the people are essentially just cargo pods now. In another weird way though, if these are some kind of like cargo pods, they're giving you the cargo pods for free, but then you're getting a distortion loadout. So if you can put up with not running cargo, you're kind of getting a bit of a free perk. But be honest, like the amount of gameplay you're going to get out of this while you're waiting for the game, and the fact that they're the same price, the pods are going to cost next to next. So just get this one. But Warlock, I kind of can't, for the same reason I can't justify the price of the Nomad. I cannot justify the price of this. Yes, it is the cheapest EMP ship in the game, and if that is your piracy type of thing, then it is unique to you, and therefore it is justifiable. But from a price point, it is really hard to justify. Knowing that you've also got a Cutlass, is the Cutlass Blue? Yeah, the Cutlass Blue can do it, and there are other ships, but yes, you are paying more for them. but they also have other functionalities. We'll put it this way: the Cutlass Blue essentially combines the Stalker and the Warlock together. So, yeah. Anyway. Right, that's all of them. Oh, no, wait.
Yep.
Oh, shit. Wait, what? Did I just skip? I must have skipped that before. Oh, no, that's because these were also available on the other side. All right. Caterpillar Pirate Edition, $330. You've also got to be able to go through to... what are you going to do? Pirate Swarm. You got to complete Pirate Swarm to be able to get access to this. This is really... I got this in LTI, really rare to get now. Again, if you want a Caterpillar, it's just a skin. It'll be earnable in game. Yes, it is one of the cooler skins. I don't know about you, Algared, but I'd probably prefer LTI than a skin.
Yeah, I would definitely prefer LTI to a skin. But if you're looking to buy a Caterpillar and you, then at least this is the same price as a Caterpillar. You're not paying extra for the skin. So. Yeah.
But there's no reason now you can't LTI token up and get LTI on everything. So
yeah, if you get an LTI and then use upgrades, you can end up getting the Caterpillar for cheaper. So
I wonder have they bugged out? I'm just curious. I'm just really curious. I don't think this is going to be the case, but let's just. I'm on hopium here, like a serious amount of hopium. Chip upgrades.
Oh, you're hoping that the Caterpillar Pirate is
I'm hoping, but no, it's not. So, yeah, never mind. I was just going, wouldn't it be cool if there was an upgrade there? Because then everyone could get it with LTI, but no. Which is what I honestly think it should be. It should allow you to choose. If you've unlocked it, just let people get LTI.
If you've unlocked the skin, you should be able to take the skin off and put it on anything you want.
Yeah.
If it's the same, at least it's the same class.
Yeah. The pinnacle of the fighters type. Well, actually, the pinnacle now would be the F8 of why they're overpriced. You can get the bomber for the same price, and it does bombing and it does weekday activities. This just does the bombing and nothing really else. So you're paying through the teeth. If it is bombing is your thing, go absolutely ballistic and get it. But you're paying an utter premium to get this thing. So, Algared, you'd agree on that one, yeah?
Yep, it's a lovely ship, but. Expensive.
Tell me, we're up to the last one, Algared, so I'll let you take the Gladiators. Go nuts.
It's a premier ship in Star Citizen, or in Squadron 42. It is the ship you're using, so
but no,
it is iconic.
Yeah, no internals, same price as the whole A as we just looked at.
Yep.
You just get this better ship for the same price, essentially.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those ships where you can earn them a lot quicker in game. And it's the same with all of the small ships.
Absolutely agree with you that 100%.
So
you'll probably be able to get one.
But again, if it's your thing,
you'll probably be able to get one through Squadron 42 just by playing the game too. Or access to get one in game through Squadron 42 is my point. So.
Yep.
Right, I think that kind of covers the sale. Hopefully, you guys found that interesting and didn't fall asleep because you've heard it 1,000 times before.
Okay, so. Question for us both is you arrive.
Sorry, that's a real good one too. You can get that ship for 10 referrals. If you've got 10 friends, then get your Gladiators. Sorry, Argo, go ahead.
Yep. So Billionaire Ninja has a question for us. When do you arrive in Manchester for CitizenCon?
I think you and I Wednesday to Wednesday from memory.
Yeah, my flight actually gets in on the 15th, so I had to get somewhere to stay for an extra night before I go to our hotel.
I remember this is funny. Tell the story about the price, because that's the funny part.
Oh, the price?
Yeah, how you tried to get it. Tell the whole story.
I was going to go to think, I've got to get a hotel for a night. May as well go to the same hotel. For hotel, because we booked our hotel like in March.
Yeah.
And so when I went to get this one night for a hotel, it was half the price of what our week stay was.
More than that. So we paid about $650 for a week each. They wanted $400 for one.
Yeah, and I was like, nah.
Yeah. That's insane. And just to put that in perspective, like you can get a hotel here in Australia, like in the middle of Sydney is like $150. So like it's really expensive for one night. 450 is insanity. This is crazy. So yeah, I arrive on the 16th and I'm there to the 23rd. But for England itself, I think I get there on the 8th of October. And then I leave on the 6th. Oh, actually, no, that's when I get back to Australia. God, it's so confusing because I lose like 2 days. So I think I arrive. So I leave Australia on the 8th and I arrive back in Australia on the 6th.
Yeah.
But I think I arrive on the 10th and leave on the 4th or something like that. It's so dumb.
You should gain a day when you go. So.
My face is melting.
You'll kind of leave like morning on the 8th and get there on evening of the 8th. But when you leave, you'll leave on the say the 6th, but get to Australia or the 5th and get to Australia on the
I walk into a TARDIS and just pop out the other side. That's basically it.
So I'm going to pick up this one. Radical says, so we're talking. Some people were talking about the Gladius, saying it's a great ship. 10 referrals will get it to you. So you get 10 people in game. You'll pick up a Gladius and gold. So you'll pick up a Gladius and some gold models, but it's diabolical talking about CitizenCon said, are we streaming each evening after the event? At the moment we're talking
we've been talking everything. So we'll see if it's appropriate. Like if we just want to chill out, maybe not. We're Wednesday to Wednesday, so maybe we'll try and stream a little bit of the
the life in Manchester.
Well, the bar citizen, so to speak.
Yeah.
It really depends what you guys want to see. So we're going to probably put it up on the Discord, and you guys can say, it's what you guys want to see. Like, how entertaining is it going to be talking to the crowd outside CitizenCon? It might be boring as shit. I don't know. So again, that's why we're kind of we've got to sit down with Paul and kind of plan this stuff out. But now Paul's not going. The plan has kind of become, Paul, this is the plan. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. Yeah. Paul's going to be kind of like the news desk at home, and me and Algared are like the weatherman out and about, the news reporter out in the field. Because then he can kind of look at your questions and what you guys are looking at, what you guys want to do, and relay that to us. And then what we've talked to him about is because he's got a bigger Twitch audience, he can. So we're going to dual stream. But basically, we're going to be sending it to him, and he's going to output it to our YouTube and to his Twitch. And that way, we kind of share the audience.
The same thing. We'll do this. The panels will be the same as we usually do, where it's just panel with no talking.
Yeah.
And then
that'll be the thing. So if you're a Twitch viewer, you'll be watching with Paul, like on the Astropub, and if you want to watch on YouTube, you'll be watching on the Inforunners. So yeah.
But we've even talked about us doing breakfast chat, dinner chat, bar citizen chat. We are hoping and looking at getting a tour of a studio, and so we're doing a whole host of things. We're hoping.
Agred's trying to
part of that.
Agred's trying to organise some interviews too, aren't you, mate? So yeah.
If we can get them, that'd be great.
Yeah.
If we can't, because they're CIG busy, that's it as well. But it is really, we are really going for that. We are really trying to give the best coverage of CitizenCon from a backer's perspective.
Yeah.
That's ever been done.
Well, no one's really ever done it. Like the only time I've ever seen it kind of even attempted was Burks was streaming from his phone on a selfie stick sitting right at the back, and we're not going to be streaming during the panels, right? That's another part of it. We'll either be in between the panels or around, and the other things that they don't cover. But even things like would be able to walk through the halls and stuff like that and see all the things that have to offer and that, and show you guys, and Paul go, well, what's that? Can we see that? Or you guys can you go back and because we want that interaction with you guys, so you can feel like you've been taken along. Because the reason we know this is Argo and I, for 10+ years, as we watched all these,
we've watched and Disco doing his floor shows, or Tyler doing the floor shows, and they'd show us something, and he'd go, no, show us that, but then move on. Yeah, you've seen that, let's move on. And it's like, yeah, okay, thank you. So we want to be able to to take you guys with us to let everyone experience to the best that we can. So yeah, that's our goal. So we want to we're still tossing up how long, what we'll do, when we'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, we did early on. We talked about evening debrief sessions where we'd get 2 or 3 other content creators who were there if they were willing to join us for drinks and a debrief of what we saw and what we liked. And so yeah, we want to do a whole gamut.
So we're really just going to kind of read the room, is what we're trying to say. Because if we just kind of want some private time and want to kind of sit down and chill out with some other content creators, there are going to be times where we're just going to want to have a break. Obviously, we'll get a bit tired. Sleep, yeah, that'd be a good time. Yeah. Do you want to do Algared snore cam?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we've been, where we've always looked, and that's why you know, that's, in all honesty, it's why we bought the cameras. It's why we bought the rigs. It's why we bought the, you know, gone the extra yard and made sure we've tried to make sure we've got really good internet. It's why, you know, we really are trying to do the best coverage that's ever been done.
Because, well, we've been on the receiving end of that. We know what it's like not to be there. And I think the worst part about CitizenCon has always been you feel like you're an observer. You don't feel like you're included at all. Like, especially the worst years was where they had 2 stages. You remember that, Algared? And they forced us to watch certain. It's like, I don't want to watch this shit. I want to watch that other one. It's way better.
I want to watch the other episode.
Yeah.
And no, the one that put it on the screen was the one they wanted. Yeah. No, I don't need a top hat and monocle for the coverage.
Oh, I don't know.
We're a top hat and monocle.
I don't know. You could go full
Not even old man
full snob mode.
We'll
give you a cane and white gloves too, and you can do a dance number. What do you reckon? No. Oh.
Not even old man Hurston.
Tap shoes. Tap shoes.
No. So,
jazz hands, maybe.
Maybe the waistcoat and tie will make it.
A penguin suit, we'll see. Well, we were already talking. I was saying, how could you have to pack suits? What are you gonna do?
Yep. And I said, yeah, I've made a rod for my own back.
Yeah.
And part of it was my own reason. It's the becoming outfit is half the time when we were filming it was either just after school or just before school. I was just too buggered. But the first time I did it was just to have a go at Paul.
Well, if you
just to join with Paul.
Yeah, because we were having a go at him. Oh, we're gonna have to up our game. Because I think at the time you were wearing like a Hawaiian shirt or something. One of the very first episodes.
I was wearing the RSI Hawaiian shirt. You know, so
yeah.
Or RSI t-shirts or Crux Cup polos and stuff.
We're probably not going to do this because we just don't have time anymore. But I was saying to Algared during the week, I was going, "Oh, we should really Aussie it up, like just turn up." And we're like full hardcore Australian, like the hats with the corks on them, the wife beaters, you know, boxer Fosters underarm. Go, strength, mate. What's going on? You know, like really freak people out.
Cream on the, the zinc cream on,
And really super Aussie it up, like full bogan mode, and just freak people out, like walking around like real hardcore. So just so you know, knowing, we'll just use England as an example, right? And you could do the same thing in America, right? The way people are is not the same. You know, you get different cultural differences as you go across America. It's the same as you go up to Scotland or down to the south. It's exactly the same in Australia. So the one that everyone kind of knows, the Aussie guy, are the Queenslanders. They're the crikey Struth, you know, the Steve Irwins. That's where they come from. They're all up in Queensland. But then you go down, as you go down, they kind of lose a bit of that. What would you call it? I can't say the word properly. It's a concentricity. Eccentricities. No, not idio. I can't say it.
Oh, well.
I'm just tongue tied. Eccentricities. People knows what I mean anyway. They'll correct me in chat. But basically, we're not as eccentric as it goes. That's what I'm trying to say. Eccentric as you go down.
No.
Yeah.
No, Chase. No.
What does he say?
Dress up as Ray Gun.
No. Ray Gun is a literal embarrassment, and the more she's literally taking people's videos down left, right, and center. That tells you again. And what we talked about before does not stand up to criticism. It just proves your entire point. If you've got to censor people in any shape or form, you're doing it wrong. It's just that simple.
Yes, Drum Runner. True, you don't have two heads like the Tasmanians. Yes, I know.
And this is so we go down to Tassie, right? There's this state in the middle called Victoria. We in Tasmania call it the Praetorians, right? They are the dumbest state, right? And the reason you know the dumbest state was we told them we were twice as smart as them. They thought that meant we had two heads, and then they told the rest of the Australia that's.
Yeah.
What can you do with dumb people?
I do admit, I had a cousin who moved up to Darwin and for a while, and he really picked up after about 5, 6, 7 years or whatever. You talking to him was like talking to a country bum.
Like really slow.
Really picked up that real Australian slow drawl. I don't have to rush. I'm just going to take it easy, and it was infuriating. Everything infuriating. It just took getting used to again, because I was used to him being like a New South Welshman, just talking all.
Yeah, they need that.
And he went,
that's why they need the positive reinforcement, Rum Runner. Rum saying on the number plate for Queensland it says the smart state. No. They think they are. So when I lived there, when I was a Tasmanian, every single one of them thought their jokes were original. And it's like.
Let them believe it.
What? Let them believe it. Yeah. I said positive reinforcement. You've got to make them think they're smart by telling them they're smart, but they're not really.
Anyway. No, that one's been done. Because that's the Luna Maria saying, I hope you've got questions. We do. Artemis, question. Come on, fellas. TAU Empire, Necrons or Ultramarines? You have to choose one faction to put into Star Citizen for greater good. The Tau Empire or Necrons or Ultramarines? Which one goes into Star Citizen? Why?
What is it? Ultramarines or what?
The Tau Empire, Necrons or Ultramarines?
I'd take Tau or Necrons. Either or. I think we're already going to get Space Marines because of the Titan suits.
Yeah, I think the Ultramarines are basically Hurston militia in Titan suits. There you go.
Tau are essentially robots as a Necron, so they're just not going to be in there because of.
Well, actually, they could be.
Well, yes, the Spirit Wars stuff. But yeah.
They could be. They could be the unnamed aliens on the other side of the.
Aren't they called the Cathak?
The Cathak. I think it's the Cathak. Yep. Yeah. On the other side of the Shan Empire. So.
I just love how that was my idea, and you and Paul have just totally stolen it, and I never get credit for it, but that's fine. It was just something I came up with. Even Paul talks about it now because it's so and then they're going to remind you and Paul. And you're like, oh yeah, it was you, yeah. It's fine.
I've never denied the fact that it came out.
It's my one law claim to fame, and I'm going to hold on to it to dear life. Because you guys got all the law. Yeah, and if it's wrong, you'll go, oh, it was him. It was.
Never. No, look, I think it makes sense. We don't know anything about the fact, but it does make sense. It is an element where it ties in, and it would be I could see it being an evil thing the writers would do, that humanity has this absolute aversion to AI because AI has stuffed them up so many times. And we get to this race that's AI, and it's like
AI done right. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's AI. It's AI gone evil. It's
you reckon it's just as? I reckon it'll be the other way. I reckon it'll be AI done right. So because then the initial reaction is going to be, oh, they're bad because all the AI we've ever seen has been bad, but it turns out they're actually totally fine.
The fact that the Cathak, I think, struck and destroyed, wiped out the royal family of Xi'an, which is why they've got problems, I think. Probably doesn't say that. Yeah, I think I've got it right.
Okay, I didn't know about that one. You could be right there.
Yeah, so there's an assassination of the royal family, which I think was and gave them all manner of issues.
Yeah, but we also don't know what the Zion did to them.
No, that's true. Well, Zion were creators. And
two rights don't make a wrong, I believe they're saying.
I just think of Orville.
Yes.
The problems they had with their AI.
Yeah.
And the AI
Great.
there, they destroyed.
Great TV show, by the way. If you want something to watch
It
again,
is.
go watch the Orville. Season 4 coming soon. It is Star Trek, but not Star Trek.
It is.
If you don't like what they've done with the new Trek, go watch Orville because it is.
I think it's Star Trek done the way the original Star Trek was done. It's tongue in cheek, but still dealing with those issues and having fun.
Seriously, it's just well written. That's it. You don't have to say anything else other than that. You know. And it holds to the original Gene Roddenberry ideals, where the newer Trek doesn't do that. It just.
Yep. I tend to feel that's true. Yeah, but but I think it's very much like I think an AI race would be very much like the robots or the AI in Orville.
Yeah.
So, which are the great evil.
I don't think we've got enough evidence there either way, but I think
no, we don't. Yeah. There's just enough to hang ourselves.
As usual.
Because I think it's one of those things that, as Dave Haddock would say, it's like dropping the breadcrumbs so that people can find the information in game, and the stuff they want to put out in the verse or in the wider world, in the stories and stuff. But there's also stuff they want to seed and have placed in the world, so that you can actually dig stuff up and try and find out the truth of itself. So, why do we find Tavaran metals in Hurston? Like from the Tavaran Wall, why are we finding these old metals in the outposts in Hurston? It's clearly that the original settlers were people from the ex-military who'd gone out after that.
But it could be something really weird. So I'm just thinking of a juxtaposition, right? So basically, the Xian did something and triggered them, so they're in defense mode whenever they see a Xian. But because they've never seen us, they're totally passive with us.
Maybe.
So we can probably get on with them where the Xian will never get on with. Like, there's so many cool juxtapositions you could do there.
Lots of ways they could go with it. Another question is going back to the episode. Do you think down the track we'll be able to buy extra armor plates or shield upgrades?
It's something we talked about in the episode, didn't we? We've long theorized different manufacturers of armor because really it's just a texture change. And we know armor's a texture change based on the Ares is a good example. Like you can put the Ares Inferno has the little hexagon armor on it, but if you take that Meridian skin and put on it, it loses the armor. So it just proves that it's a texture. So again, if it's just a texture change, that's really easy to do. Just different manufacturers. So hexagons for one, some other pattern for another as an example, different costs.
So I think down the track they could do it. They could buy the extra armor plates and it does something, changes the texture of your ship or does something to illustrate that. But down the track, I could see them doing that. But will they do it? Don't know. I think they might do the different, having different manufacturers of the armor. So and different grades of armor, and we've already got different grades of armor. We've got capital, medium. So I think we'll have different grades in that. So a capital Drake ship won't necessarily have the same armor as a capital Aegis ship or Envoy ship. So yeah.
I agree.
One of our guys, one of our supporters, joining us to be a fly on the wall.
Oh, hey, Wayne. I just jumped in to listen. Yeah, you can hear that. I didn't even hear that because I got streaming remote. Next question, Algared.
So, Daedalus has a question. What do you expect from CitizenCon compared to last year's event?
So that's a really good question. We talked
that
about
is a really good question. It's one we've been asking ourselves because... and I know you're about to say this as well, because in the past, our IFCs have been so empty and so devoid of content. You're saying because they're holding it off for CitizenCon.
Yeah, just before CitizenCon,
And this year we're going, there is so much coming out. What are they showing us at CitizenCon?
Yeah.
And
the themes kind of come out too, because what Disco said at the end is it's going to be the future of the game or the future of Star Citizen. If that's the theme, holy shit! So think about all the stuff they talked about last year, like the base building and all that. Even if it's just the next 12 months of what they're going to do in the game, I have to assume from what you and I and Space Tomato worked out at the episode at the start of the year that this is all foundational stuff. Didn't I say the first year would be the most interesting?
Yeah.
But it didn't go exactly how I thought, because this was all foundational stuff. It's next year that's going to be really interesting, because it's all new now. So they've built the
Oh, it was,
foundation this year. Next year, it's all. Look, think of all the gameplay that's going to come in next year.
oh, just look at the engineering and the impact. And I think what I kind of hope what we'll see is what we've shown us in the last couple of weeks, we're going to see expanded on. And so you think engineering was good now, wait until it comes. We know that there's going to be some form of engineering on bases, on the outposts, because one of the missions is go and repair that terminal so you can actually do stuff. So
what ship concepts will we see that point towards new gameplay?
Yeah.
Are we going to get the Old Man Hurston Farm Uwu Girl ship? Like all the different things that we could get. Again, I have to assume the ships are going to be tailored towards new gameplay, all the gameplay that they're intending to make. Much like what we saw them drop the Marky Mark, but it hasn't hit because Bounty Hunter hasn't come out as they originally planned. So yeah.
One thing I'd like to see is we've got the cows, but we don't have the bulls. So I'd like to see them actually do the more aggressive species of animals.
How do you know they're not asexual, Algared?
Well, it could be. They could be hermaphrodites.
Yeah, you never know.
Like but worms. I would hope
worms.
Yeah. But I'd hope that we'd see variations in that. Same with all the other animals, that would get the different, because that also changes the aggression modes that the animals will have, or
I even started to wonder,
or possibly even the produce that comes from a different animal. So
I wonder if they've gone far enough that you could actually take one of the really hairy ones and one of the hairless ones and kind of like breed them and get something in between. Like, I know that's total hopium, but that would be so damn cool if you could.
I've seen that type of stuff in games where you get animal A, animal B, breed them together, and then you've got the. So
well, we know it's a thing that you can do it with yourself. You can kind of change your race you genetically as you go through. So it'd be kind of cool if you could do that with your farm animals too. So you could actually breed out certain traits like aggression and stuff like that. There's a whole gameplay just in that alone. So I don't know.
Someone said they've got the balls. Didn't you see the ones with beards?
So true.
Okay. But yeah, I'd like to see that, and I'd like to see, things I'd like to see down the track is the harvesting of resource, harvesting the skins or the hair. What can you make with that? All those types of things. But yeah, that's me dreaming and going on a very big hopium track. But yeah, where can we get the AI Transformers helmet?
What? There's a transform. What? You have a Transformers?
Yeah, I think that's either the OWL or the AI. I think they're talking about this screen, what looked like Bumblebee.
Oh, this is just an AI generated one I grabbed off the internet.
Yep.
I think it was on freepix.com. Yeah.
So you can go there and have a look.
Yeah, this is not CRG. Sometimes I just go, I want a random thumbnail, and I go find cool images and go, yeah, this will do. So I've done that a couple of times. So I don't always grab Star Citizen stuff, and it keeps people guessing, which is good too. Yeah.
So going back to the video, Breadbeard6722 said, one thing I'm a bit worried about with this is being hit by a bullet from a ship that passed through my ship and then insta-kills me. A bit like,
it probably would injure you, not insta-kill you, let's be honest.
Yeah, so I get they're coming from their idea of, the ballistic bullet going through in Expanse, killing the guy and then they're in their prisoners.
That's the roll of the dice. That's the roll of the dice.
It could happen, but I think when that's happening, when the bullets are finally penetrating a ship and going through, that means they've wiped out your shields. They've pretty much wiped out your armor.
No, he's talking like a completely random, like it goes through the shield, it goes through the armor, it goes through the hole, and just happens to go through your eyeball.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, because I think for a bullet to go through the arm, to penetrate the armor fresh, penetrate the shields fresh, to go through the ship.
Yeah, I just don't think it'll do enough damage.
Yeah,
I think it'll injure you at best.
Or it's a bolt from a size 10 laser cannon, which
that's
evaporates
different.
the ship anyway. In which case, it went through all the shields, all the ship, all of you, and there's nothing left.
I just look at other games where that person gets that's insane lucky headshot. That's how I see that. Like it's just the statistical luck. It's just
look, it's like the old people who played your pen and paper role play games. Iron Crown Enterprises. What was it? Spell law, character law. I can't remember what it was. We used to play Rollmaster. Rollmaster. And we had a mate who once did massive lucky hit. If you rolled 100, you just kept rolling and just adding to your score to see how well you hit. And he ended up knocking out the great hero champion that we were supposed to fight because you just had this massive, absolute fluke of a win. And I was like, yeah, okay, game over.
But he rolled like 100 4 times or something.
Yeah, he rolled 100 like 4 or 5 times. It was like,
damn.
Okay, that's cop for his armor. Yeah, he's got that. Yeah, and then he rolled the critical. It was just on this absolute roll. It was so.
Yeah.
Hawkeye or Hawkshaw, sorry, comes in with a comment about this was more a comment which I thought was interesting. So I'll change it as a question as well. So he says, with this, every ship will have a maintenance ratio. In real life, the Airbus A320 has a ratio of about 1 to 20, 1 hour of flight to 20 hours of maintenance. And then the question was, let's see how this will impact the game.
Right, so every 1 hour it flies, it takes him 20 hours to maintain. That's insane. Damn, I didn't know that. That's insane. Okay.
I know that I didn't know that number, but I do know there's for every hour of flight they go through. They've got to check all the parts, do the maintenance, do the stress testing or whatever. So, yeah, I could see I don't think it'll be that bad for the ships, but I think that's kind of something you want to do. And I think the fact that I will repair my ships every time I land, I hope that they're kind of that. Yes, repair is going to take X number of time, and then you go out and do other stuff while it's being repaired. Or I don't think repairs are going to be that instant like they are at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's scroll down to the bottom to the other questions. And we've got JDE4472 says, do you lads reckon we'll see the Zeus ST revealed at CitizenCon? He thinks so. What do you reckon?
I do think so, and I've said many times. Don't make me repeat myself, because people are going to go, oh, not again. So I won't say anything else.
Yep. No, I think we'll see the Zeus. I think we'll see the Mark II or the Mark as well as the Zeus S2. I think they'll get released together. Is my
really?
thought.
I don't agree on. I don't agree on the Marky Mark, but it'd be nice to see, but I don't think we will. I think the Marky Marker will come with bounty hunting. I think the other thing we're going to see at CitizenCon is the Fat Fury or the Guardian.
I think we'll definitely see the Fat Fury.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see the Zeus, both Zeus come out together, because they did the first two together. I'd like to see the second two come together. But that's just me being wishful and liking symmetry.
Yeah, maybe they'll, if they do come out together, then maybe they'll announce the Zeus ST that'll come with the Marky Mark. But I think the Marky Mark is delayed just because the bounty hunting's been delayed.
And I think that makes is a reasonable assumption. And you're just showing your like of asymmetry. Which you do have.
Red Samurai does, Red Samurai does say flight ready Fat Fury. Well, statistically, it says it was in the yellow silhouette video, and they said these are going to be flight ready in the next 12 months. If you look at the two that are left, it's an advanced starter or the Fat Fury. All the starters come at IAE. Process of elimination, it's got to come at CitizenCon.
Yeah.
Unless it's coming at AIE as well, possibly, but statistically it's all the medium ships, because also the Fat Fury or Guardian's a medium ship based on the little person. Just system of elimination. It's connecting dots. There's only 2 sales left. It's got to come now, or it's delayed. They haven't mentioned anything about a delay for it.
Well, and we know the Polaris is coming at as well. It has been seen in game. I have seen pictures of it. The Legionnaire could be another one I've seen from chat.
No. He's mentioning the Legionnaire because the Legionnaire is delayed. It was mentioned that they were going to delay it. Yeah. So he was trying to mention, but the Legionnaire's not out yet, and that's what it is though. They did mention it, but they've never mentioned the Fat Furies being delayed. So yeah.
Yeah. So so all of those reasons. Snipe Cool Bunny says, do you guys think they will ever give love to the P series? I have Arch Emerald, Archimedes, and the Nav mode. I'd love them to fix up the P5272.
That's what I mean by P series. I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
I had to think about that as well.
Yeah, I'm like, because there's a lot of P series, like 315p. Like, I was like,
yeah, well, that's where my thoughts went as well. And even when I said Arch Emeralds, and I'm thinking,
I'm never calling it the P series because I was just that's the worst name for it. I saw a yellow stream when he said that. I was like, what is he talking about here?
Yep. P5272. I'd love to see him get extra love. I'd love to see all small snub ships have some form of nav mode or very short quantum drive.
I would have liked to have seen, like, you know how they had the Taurus and they removed it for the Taurus? I reckon a little loader variant would have been sick. Like, just like a tractor beam variant that carries a couple of SAU boxes. Would have been mad. It would have been so cool. Like, but I can see why they didn't at the same time. It was extra work.
But yeah, I'd love to see those get love. I'd love to see them be more versatile. Same, I think every ship needs to be able to have a navigation. Now, I know the reason why they didn't initially have it was the idea was that they would tether to their mothership.
Yeah.
So all little ships like this, they got their navigation information from the mothership. And so that's where their navigation information was coming from, and that's why they don't have it. But I'd love to see it. And yes, it does take hours to fly around the planet. Try that in an MPUV.
Yeah.
If you think it takes 5 hours in a
even the
P52?
Fury, when the Fury first came out, I remember telling Algared I triangulated and manually flew a Fury from Horizon to Seraphim. And trying to triangulate was... I was like, oh, fuck, I think I'm lost here. Because by the time I got up, I did actually eventually get there, but I'd used 75% of my fuel. Like, if I had not found it, I would have died. But it was just kind of a bit of fun. I thought, I'm going to try it. Yeah, why not?
Oh, why? Because I can.
Yeah.
Bane Media says, what do you think about the Reclaimer changes and how will it impact on new engineering gameplay? Will the Reclaimer get good armor?
We did that one already.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
It's been done twice. They snuck it in a second time. Red Samurai says, I know CIG said they would think about it, but what do you think about the MR getting red and blue lights?
Marky Mark getting blue and red lights? Yeah, possibly. But again, it's not a police ship, it's a bounty hunting ship.
Yeah.
So
I
don't see it needing it.
I could see a variant of the Marky Mark being a police ship.
A variant of a variant.
Yeah.
We have seen that before though with the Saber Raven stuff. So
no, I could see it being a police ship as well as being just a very run of the mill ordinary ship or pirate ship. Take your pick. And Robert CG says, do you think they will release engineering to the PU without every ship having component access? And how would that even work?
Sorry, I was reading something else that's related to something you would like. So Architect TV on Twitch said Elwin at a DC bar citizen said he wanted to work on more Kruger ships. So you've got someone going to bat for you in the Kruger stuff.
Elwin's just become my new hero. And he did the I don't know if he did the P52, but he certainly did the P72. And I know he enjoyed working on that. And yeah, I've said it from go to woe. Kruger are the company that make so many parts. They make every ship we've got, every weapon we've got has Kruger parts in it.
Yeah. In
law, Kruger said, when they made their weapon, their first weapon, they said, we make every part. Why don't we make the weapon? And that's the weapon that's on the Avenger. The nose gun on the Avenger is a Kruger weapon. And then they did the same when they made their ship. They, rather than trying to do that initially, they apparently went to the companies and said, we want to build this small ship. So, they went to RSI and said, let us team up with you. And so they built their small ship. I'd love to, and they were but them showing, hey, we can do it. Now they need to go the next step and build the next ship up. But
I'd like to see an actual starter ship from them, and that's their first one that they build.
Yeah, I would love to see.
And then down the line, after the game comes out, then they move into other stuff.
Might do another ship. Yeah, but I'd love to see them do a proper starter ship. And it's what frustrated me with the Ares. The Ares could have been their first ship.
Yeah.
Because it was a next step up from...
But that's not what they wanted to make. They wanted to make a Crusader combat ship because Crusader was popular. Yeah, that's why they broke their own law, because they just went, "Ooh, popular brand. Let's add more popular ship with popular. Win." That's how marketing people think. Popular plus popular equals popular.
Yeah, popular plus popular equals money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, French fries and ice cream
should never
don't go
be
together.
anything starter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a company that's starting off and building their ships. Well, actually, their P-52 is their starter ship, but it's too. But you want something that's got a little bit more life in it. But I do think that because we had the P-52, which was basically a ship built around the weapon.
Are they mainly weapons, or what is their main forte?
They are parts.
Okay.
So they are renowned for precision parts. They are renowned for precision parts. So, and they do anvil parts. They do. They produce so many parts that they sat there one day and said, "We build all the parts. Why don't we build a weapon?" And then they did the same thing. We built so many parts. We actually build all the parts for ships. Why don't we build our own ship?
Yeah. Apologies, Lord Shinumbra. Yeah. I went to a place called the AIE, and I just mix up AIE with IAE all the time. So my apologies. Juan Blismo's watched me so much he knows. Apologies. I do mix it up. So.
Yep, I don't even hear it anymore when he says it.
Yeah. Sorry, sorry, but
I know what he means. I just don't even. Yeah, and it doesn't even register anymore as an error.
It's funny though that there are now people that type it in Discord, like they actually say AIE, and I'm like, oh shit, what have I done?
You've infected everyone.
Yeah,
what you've done.
Mind virus. Right.
Yeah, you are a virus, Execute. That's right. You are a virus.
Yes, that's true. All right. JDE4472 says, question, I'm still confused about the IC saying only 2 size 2 and below can be changed with the handheld. So Carrack owners not going to be able to take out and replace the S3 components. Yeah, but you can take the sub-components out and repair them on the bench. Yeah. That's what that's for.
Yeah, you can prove it. Take sub-components out. And I suppose you're also recharging your gun in there and...
How big do you reckon a sub-component of a size 3 would be, Algared? It'd have to be,
I don't know,
about as big as fits on the bench, yeah?
Yeah, makes sense to me. I don't think it's just going to be a little... I don't think it's going to be a little zip card.
No.
But,
yeah, you just swipe it.
Yeah. So, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that seems to make sense to me.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All right, Patrick says, about the Polaris, wouldn't it fit in a large hangar? Technically, it would be, it's a capital ship, so it would be in the capital hangar. It'd have to be, it'd be an S5 from memory. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, S5. So it'd be an S5 hangar. As an owner of one Polaris, my max hangar size is large and not extra large like the it'd be reclaimer sized, or would it be docking only? Yeah, it should technically fit in the reclaimer size hangar. They are the largest capitals that'll fit. The size above is that don't hangars, so there's no S6 size hangars basically.
So let's see. Red Samurai had a question from our video or from the ISC. They said, I think people have been soloing larger ships will stay busy.
Yep.
I want that feeling. But if I see a large ship, then I'm 99% sure that they're going to have personnel on board. So that whole idea, how do I know? And I think initially you take the idea, I see a large ship that's probably got full crew. So he likes that idea and he wants to know what we think on that. I think there are two things that come into it. One, I see a big ship, I'm going to assume there's more people, like multiple players or people on board. Two, from scanning, I do believe we're supposed to be able to scan and see how many crew are on board. Now, I hope when you scan a ship, you're not going to get be able to tell, Execute and Algared are on the ship, and you're able to say, oh yes, there's X number of people on the ship, whether it's players and NPCs. So you don't really know. I hope it goes that way, but yeah. What are your thoughts?
I was answering a question in chat. Sorry, I missed it.
So, larger ships needing to be when you see a large ship, are you going to assume it's got people on, or are you going to assume it's solo?
You just assume it's got people on it, surely. You're going to need NPCs on it at the very least. In some, really, you're going to be able to scan it and see what the crew count is.
Yeah,
that's going to be the takeaway.
Yeah, so I hope when they do the scanning, as I was saying, I hope when they do the scanning, you can't tell, oh, there's 3 players and 5 NPC. I hope it just says there's 8 people on board, and then you find out with NPCs when you board or decide to combat it and conquer it and board it. But that's just my hope. A Curse for Life says they showed on an engineering frame of the Connie in the video. They could only make out 2 relay points at the front. Sorry, in total, 1 fore and 1 aft. Could the unannounced ships be gold standard? I don't think unannounced ships are ever gold standard.
I think gold standard was just currently is whatever is the top of the tree, and I think that's moving forward more and more. We're even hearing that about the Zeus. The Zeus has just completely been knocked out of the park. You could see in the videos, it was just way more crisp and clearer.
Well, even John Crew, I think it was John Crew, said of the Zeus that it was the new standard. If I remember correctly, so it's just putting it into that. Just reinforce what you said. Every time they do a ship and redevelop a ship and raise up the standard of components or whatever, that becomes a standard, and everything else gets dragged up into that level. And sometimes that takes a long time. Sometimes it doesn't take a long time. So doing the flight mode, doing changing the flight model for all the ships, that was a big job. And before they brought in master modes, they had to go through and change that for every ship. Can they get away with that for other things? Possibly.
I think that's probably what they've been doing all year. Adding components to all the ships. Redoing the flight. Well, I think this is all shit we're going to see at CitizenCon, like the updated flight model, all this type of shit. Like, look at what we had last year, and then what they promised, and then just go, and here's 12 months, right? Yeah. I'm expecting that again, but just more updates, more fixes, more. All that across the board. Like, it was such a coverage last year. It covered everything, Squadron and Star Citizen. Why would I think anything else other than just more of the same but updated? And then a whole bunch of new shit on top of that again.
And I think that the real beauty is, in the past, when the lead up to Star Citizen, it's like, what have we got? It's so empty, so quiet. What are they going to show us?
Well, they're showing us updates, aren't they?
This year, they're showing us lots of stuff that is a lot of meat, and that makes you go, okay, if they're showing us this, that's you've said it numerous times. If they're showing us this, it says they've actually got more than enough for CitizenCon. They don't have to hold stuff back, and that bodes well.
That bodes really well.
Yeah,
like all these years where they've held back from CitizenCon because they just don't have enough to show. It also means that they're not so much just talking about. They don't really like to talk about Squadron, right? It almost is like they've got too much to talk about. So we're going to have a whole day of Squadron and a whole day of Star Citizen. But also we know that they fundamentally, and I don't mean to say it in this way, but I'm saying it so you get what I mean. They essentially finished Squadron 42 last year, and they moved a lot of people over to Star Citizen.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the new stuff is going to be actually finally talking about actually working on Star Citizen, because that's what they started this year. Do you really think this game sat like idle for almost a decade? They just didn't have enough. Everything was overflow. So we'll see. I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can in chat, because there's little questions coming through from new people and stuff like that. So if I do miss one, I do apologize, but I'm trying to answer as many as possible. Um,
Um,
Patrick,
oh,
about.
there it was.
We've already done that one, didn't we? We're on to the next one, isn't we?
Yep, we did
I
do
didn't.
that
I
one
didn't
with
tick
the
it. Yeah, I didn't tick it.
so the
My
critical
fault.
power plant failure. Yes, we did talk about that one. It's the one I was looking for earlier and I couldn't find it.
No. I did about the Polaris. So this one is
Yep.
JDE. Seeing carrying a spare component's a smart thing for some people. I can see people bringing, it's say, 1 million of spare parts along with the value of the cargo. No, well, again, if you're bringing all these, did you mean 1 million UEC? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I thought you meant 1 million components. Well, that won't fit on the ship, but yeah, you could spend quite a bit on components.
Yeah. And you can have spare components in your cargo hold, but those spare components are going to take up cargo space, and so.
What do you think all the cargo on the carrack is for?
Yeah, spare parts.
It's supplies. That's literally what it is.
They can stay out in space for a long time.
Yep.
Um,
The Odyssey is no different.
Yep. Last question from the stream, and I like this one. This was from Sam Groper.
He means the video, not the stream.
Yeah,
but
sorry,
we get
the
what
video.
he means.
Yep. So the video that we did on ISC, and Sam Groper says, I wonder if CIG will offer an engineering pack. WD-40, duct tape, and a hammer.
A Drake engineering pack.
And someone basically said, yes, that's a Drake engineering pack.
Yeah.
And I laughed at that, and I thought, yeah, it was something I could see them doing stuff like that just as a joke. If they did do something like that, I hope that the marketing would not try and make money off it in terms of like make it massively expensive, but keep it really cheap.
I do think at some point they have to put a model of duct tape in game just for shits and giggles.
They do.
You know,
yeah.
Just a prop. So
even if and a Drake ship have 2 bits of duct tape over a bit of hole. So.
Or just a poster of the, you can put up posters on your walls. Yeah. It's just an X that's duct tape. So you put them on the whole of the ship. So it's just like, oh yeah, that's the patch job. Yeah.
All right, so we've done that one. So Deji E4472 says, seeing as carrying up, that's the one you just did.
Yep. Sorry, I'm not taking them off.
Wolf Blitzer, with the new engineering, Carrack versus Odyssey.
Ooh, well, it's tough because they both do it in different ways. Right? You don't have the essentially the maintenance requirements. How do I put this? The Carrack is truly alone, where the Odyssey is more like being resupplied. That's the difference, I think, Algared, unless you think.
Oh, look, I think I'd go the Carrack over the Odyssey if I'm looking just in terms of engineering and that ability to repair components.
Yep.
Because the Carrack has, not only does it have that workbench, it also has the drones.
I think that's why the Odyssey has the hangar though, because it's resupplied and it's not as far out as the as the Carrack. The Carrack is truly alone. It's its own island. It's
what we've always. I think it's what we've always said, that the Carrack is that deep space explorer, whereas the Odyssey is a planetary explorer. And I think that's the difference between.
Yeah, it's almost like, again, a survey ship versus the Star Trek Enterprise. The Carrack is the Enterprise of this game. There's just no other way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs more crew, but I think it fits into that role.
Yeah.
Patrick, could we rent out ships in game toward other players? I believe that was something CIG always indicated you'd be able to do, rent your ships out to players, and there'd be methods to contracts and stuff. And so I think they even went as far as saying if you'd rented a ship out and it was stolen, then you could actually do a reclaim on it. So, and then the person would be tagged as a criminal, blah blah blah, and then over time you get your ship back.
Well, it gives them another profession loop that's fairly easy to implement from that regard.
However, work that out, haven't worked out, we don't know yet, but that's some of the things they were talking about as being possible. They certainly talked about that in terms of being able to loan ships to your org, and then you'd always own your ships, but they could go into an org pool which org members could then use. But that was them talking about how they'd like to do it down the track. How that's changed over time, we don't know yet. But you can go by the idea they'll try and stick to what they originally said because they haven't said anything else.
Yeah, that's it. Demon Wolf. Wait, this doesn't look like a question. Hang on. Yeah, so that's not a question. Mystic Nova. How will the AI crew work with engineering? Pretty easily, actually. If you realize that they can fake a lot of this stuff, it's really just the AI walking up, using a beam, which is, again, you can work out the center of an object pretty easily with orientation points and stuff like that. And so essentially it's just the AI knowing where it has to shoot a beam, but basically it's just on a timer. Again, we have a player rating system. You can take averages of players, work out a rough time, bang, done.
And I know from an engineering article they put out in Jump Point recently, they talked about they've worked out where they can get the AI to go to different component areas and open panels and and do the animations of stuff. And then if there's someone already there or there's another AI even of that panel, it'll move around. So they were talking to navigation of the AI and what the AI can do. And that really is how they do it. They'll just get the AI go to the areas. They'll do the animation of doing repairs or doing whatever doing or doing cleaning. And then over time, it gets repaired and then they move on. So...
Right. Sniper Cool Bunny says, where do you guys think snubs without drives will fill into the game, since light fighters have more guns, more health, better components, and pound for pound just better? That's a really good question, because I think where it really comes in is going to probably be price, and also the way the original Merlin was kind of pitched. Argo, you can correct me if you think I'm wrong here. Was it was more of an annoyance. It was kind of almost like designed to distract so the actual Connie could get away. That was kind of the original pitch. Unless you remembering it different to me, or?
Yeah, I never saw the P-52 as being a distraction or a sacrifice so the Connie can get away, because the P-52 that's how people took it, because there was always that argument, you're leaving my little fighter that can't follow you alone. I think the idea of it was that it became another target that could actually cause you a lot of damage.
And it helps them keep it off your butt,
helps it keep it off your butt and the rest of it, so that you can actually do the damage and be reclaimed. I think that the difference is, as you said, it's price. So local defensive areas don't need to buy lots of heavy fighters if they got dozens of these small P-52s, if it's just local defense. But as you go up in size, you're actually expanding out your umbrella or your defense window.
And we're kind of seeing, if you look at the ships that we have, so like you look at the Connie and whoa. Oh, I just had a realization. I'll share that in a minute. If you look at the Connie and the Fury as an example of snubs, they basically lean into combat or racing, right? So racing is more because it's an individualistic thing. It gives it something else to do. But their main role is combat focused. So they are an assistance vehicle. The exception to that is obviously the MPUV, but that also assists as well. So they are an assistance craft to their mothership of some sort. They add to the functionality. You want to know what my realization was, unless you've got something else to add?
No, I think you just saw the bits on.
No, I did not.
Okay,
What happened?
Well, I noticed that we've had 1,500 bits donated.
Oh, really?
It's from Afro.
Oh, thank you, Afro. No, I didn't notice that. No, I literally had an epiphany. The Fury. What if the Fury works with the Guardian? And it's a snub for the Guardian?
Yeah. Well, we did argue that the Guardian was the snub, needed to have a mothership. So
yeah, and I was just starting to think, well, what if that is the mothership, and it's a medium? Yep. Well, that would totally separate it from all the other medium ships. It's a medium ship that has a snub. That's huge. Now, I'm not saying that's the way it's going, but I just went, that'd be awesome.
I'd love to see a rework of the Starfarer as a snub carrier for the Fury, because it just seems to work so well. But anything's possible. But yeah,
We'll have to wait and
it
see.
could well be.
Yeah,
we do.
I do think the cool thing about the Fat Fury is it's obviously going to have internal, so it's starting to work out the Mirai brand. I'm really excited as Mirai as a brand. I think it will probably be one of my favorites. Yep. We'll have to wait and see.
I am looking at our Twitch, and apparently we were 253 followers away from 2,000.
Oh really? Oh.
Yeah.
So one of us paying attention. I never.
So.
Yeah. Do you know, I looked at our Discord the other day. I think the last time I looked at it, we're almost at 2,000. I think we've smashed past 3,000 now. I'd have to go have a look. But
okay.
Yeah, so that's going as well. But again, let's keep doing what we're doing. I enjoy talking about the game. I know you do. It's not about.
Yeah. I always say I like talking shit.
Yeah, it's the journey, not about the end goal. So yeah.
So So Snipe Cool Bunny has a question.
Yep.
Where do you guys think Snub?
That's the one you just did. See, this is the problem when I don't tick them. Algared reads them. Nazgul, go that one, Algared.
Okay, Nazgul has a question. Nazgul9 says, I think the problem with engineering is that the way CIG are implementing it without any sign of promised NPC crew, which made me invest in bigger ships from a solo player perspective.
You've got to have the system in place before you can build the AI around it. You can't do them at the same time, because otherwise you're constantly updating the AI, and it's like why they don't update the game, because you've got to have things in place before. Otherwise, you're just redoing shit, and it takes 10 times as long, and you have all that tech debt. You've just got to wait till it's in. But
a lot of the stuff in terms of the AI going to places and being able to do the animations of doing repair, that would have been stuff for Squadron, and that's one of the things that you see in the interview from Jump Point, where I seem to talk about that, and you can see this is stuff that's going to come in.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the AI crew, how AI crew will work. It's just that the last step is the time it's going to take them to actually do that transfer or repair, or what quality they'll do, and that'll be something I think they'll work out.
Yeah, worked on and released is two very different things.
Yeah.
So we won't see, we'll probably see NPC crews that can do basic things like turrets first, or something like that. But we're not going to, I don't think we'll see them all come out at one hit. You've got to have it all in place, or at least a system in place, right? So say they, the engineering, right? Because that's obviously one of the that they've talked about. You'll see that before you see them doing refining or whatever like that. You know what I mean? So more than likely they will, just like how they expand the gameplay, they'll expand what AI can do. As you'll see the gameplay come in for refining, and then after that you'll probably see AI will be able to do refining, because it's got a cart before the horse mentality. So again, just like how the gameplay expands, what AI can do will expand. And going by what you've seen, you tell me, Algared, how they roll it out. Do you think that sounds logical?
Yeah, I think it seems reasonable. And I think, like, if you've got bigger ships, you've got to go by the idea. I think going by the idea that I'm going to fly my big ship solo all the time is nuts. You want to look at them.
Someone said that earlier. There are still people that think that you can fly a Javelin solo. Yeah, you can fly it solo, but you're going to rapidly, as soon as the shit hits the fan, in any way, shape, or form, oh shit, we've got a misfiring thruster or blah blah blah, the warp cores, boom, cascading effect, boom, the whole thing's gone. Yeah. Right, because you couldn't walk down there fast enough to fix it.
Yeah, you are going to need crew. I think with the biggest ship you probably want to do solo, the medium ships, ships like the Connie and the Freelancer, and they're probably the biggest ships you take solo, but they're still going to excel when you've got multiple players.
Absolutely.
But beyond that,
I think as soon as you get your capital, you've got a really no, not a solo. You've got to, and even then, I don't think you've got. And when I say solo, I'm not just talking humans. You're going to need NPCs at minimum.
Yeah, and that's and I get Nazgul was saying that they bought the bigger ships planning on being solo with NPC crew. So when are we getting the NPC crew? And the question is, it's one of those questions that you can never answer, because it'll be ready when it's ready. It's a wizard question. No, a wizard is never late, and a wizard is never early. It comes right at the right time, and that's when this will come.
Yeah, so SA is just saying they already have NPC crew turret gunners minus the NPC sitting in the seat. Yes, but it's not implemented in SC. And I guess it is actually because of the pirates and stuff. But you get my point, right? I'm trying to give examples, right? And it's hard to give examples across the board. But again, like everything, this game is always rolled out in tiers or stages and stuff like that. Why would we have any thought to think differently? A massive change like that is just not going to happen. If they roll it out, because again, in games development, if you take small incremental steps, less likely to go wrong. It's like if I give Algared one piece, that whole jigsaw puzzle one that I told you about, Algared. If I give Algared one piece, if I give him the very next piece of the jigsaw puzzle to connect to the previous piece, Algared can just build the whole thing. But if I chuck the whole box at him and go put it together,
man, it takes longer. But I think the other thing is that as we're looking at the whole development of the game, if you take the incremental steps when you're developing the game and the next, you can actually draw your audience along with you. But if you do the whole lot, then it becomes, oh crap, it's too much for me to learn. I'm done.
It's half the problem why people are revolting to the flight changes and all that, because it's a drastic change. It's like almost nothing for 10 years, and then boom, you turn it into multiplayer, and that's why they're revolting so hard, because it's such a drastic change.
Yeah, but it's stuff that they have talked about they want to do and kept pushing and talking about, but what you hear and what you do are totally different things in terms of the way we freak out. So
I think we're in agreement. SA, that's what we're saying. You're going to see limited NPC crew soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, maybe that's what we're getting at CitizenCon.
Maybe.
It's another bit of that. We don't know what's coming, but I'm sure it's going to be good. Aurelius Indomitus. With engineering, they did talk. You can blow up your ship. Do you think they have a sidestep from you to be able to keep your ship safe at all times? Yeah, keep it repaired.
Do you think they have a step away from you keeping your ship safe at all times? No. Look after it or it'll explode.
Yeah.
That's simple. Look after it. That's the step away.
That's the step away.
Do your bloody job.
Keep your ship repaired.
I agree. It's not the time to drink a martini. Get back down to the engine room.
Yeah, Algared, what are you doing? I'm fixing the bloody engine. I'm
just
screwing up the engine.
I'm flirting with you, girls. No, get back to the engine. It's about to blow.
No, it'll be, Algared, shoot him. I can't. I'm fixing the engine. Oh, okay. Keep fixing the engine. Algared, what are you doing? Why are you fixing the engine? You told me to get in the turret. So, yes, I could see it.
Ironically, that does sound like me.
I know him. Red Samurai has a question. Thoughts on the price increase of the ES and the ESCL on release? A1 Spirit to 45.
Was it
10 A1 Spirit to 45?
10 to 20%, or was it 15 to 20? I can't quite remember. It was one of those figures.
So the AI Spirit went up by 45. Usually it's about, I think it's 10 to 15%.
Yeah.
Is usually the rough guide.
Yeah.
Is to go for, and if it's less than that, you rejoice, and if it's more than that, you cry.
Yeah. So the marky mark would be like 210. What's that? 155. So that would make that about 15. That sounds about right. $15. So you'd be going from 155 to 170.
Yeah. So that'd be the minimum price, and then 10%, and then 15% would be what, another $7 on top, or $5 on top, or whatever it was. So
no, that's them increased. That was so yeah. So I just took 10% and put it on top.
Yeah, so 10 to 15% increase. So if it's around that, you rejoice. If it's less than that, you are very happy, and if it's more than that, you cry. That's
it's really tough where they're going to drop out, to be honest with you, because again, I lean more on the expensive side because they defaultly started out cheaper. The only one that's throwing me off there a little bit is the Freelancer Misery, because that's 175. But again, it's a military ship, so I can see the expense on it. You know what I mean? So
but then, and with the Mist being 175 and being a similarly sized ship, in terms of crew and stuff, and Marky Mark being around that, seems to
well, the market
fit the
again,
price.
the market mark would be 210 to
Mm.
225,
Yeah,
and the ES and the CL would be 170 to 185. That's
yeah,
based on the 10 to 20%.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was out on my thinking, but yeah, that's it. Anyway,
It's just interesting to see where they're going to land. And here's the other one: where's the Guardian going to land, or the Fat Fury? Like is that where do you see that sitting? And I'd have to assume that it's somewhere between the Zeus, because the Zeus is quite a bit more expensive than the others. And what I mean by that is, like, it's usually like I think it's 130 to 155. So I'm gonna have to assume it's like 145 for the Mirai. Like that would
yeah.
bridge that $10
Um,
gap.
it also depends on the role. Like it. So if it is a mothership, does it become almost a slightly smaller
Again,
Connie-esque type?
yeah,
But
again, that's
all
me
speculation, isn't it?
speculating. Yeah, it's me speculating like a crazy mofo. That's me
Yep.
hoping and coping.
Yep.
Well, not coping, I'm hoping. So
Yep.
yeah, again, it was just something I just kind of had I'd never really thought about it, and it kind of just clicked. Yeah.
No, I could see it being something like that. It'd be nice to see more ships that act as motherships, because they've got, but if it uses docking, they've got the docking worked out with bases and even with the Connie. It's that we'll use that same docking with the MPUVs and the Idris. I can't see why they wouldn't use it in that. I think they'll use that same type of docking when they're doing drones. So
Yeah.
but it's not as if they don't have the tech there. So yeah, why not?
It's not there's not often I see very simple but complex questions like this, and I want to put it because I think it's a really good one. So Ash asks on Twitch, do you think tattoos will/should carry over upon respawn? That's a really good question. And I would have to say, I think they shouldn't, because technically it's a new corpse. And if it's, unless it's some kind of special, maybe you could have different types of tattoos. You could have one that's like biological, that is like woven into your DNA, and then it copies your DNA, and so therefore it goes with you. But then you could also, you know how we talked about different layers of technology? Isn't that different layers of tattoos?
Yeah.
So you could have a low end one that's like just drawn on essentially, or inked on, and then the ones that are actually woven into your DNA. So maybe they'll have different levels, Ash. It's a good question. It really is a good question.
And it is a hard one because they've talked about the regeneration. The sphere actually, when picks up the echoes of it, the trauma echoes. So if it's really painful,
Yep.
Would you see some? So could you see fainter tattoos? Because the tattoos were painful to be put on. If you've been branded, would the brand still be there because it was really painful and gave a traumatic experience? So, yeah, it is an interesting question, but I'd like to see tattoos being able to be placed where you want them, and even a bit like decals on tanks and ships and planes in War Thunder. That anything you put on a ship or anything you put on yourself, you can actually change the size or the
again,
or the location of it.
You'd have to assume that when you respawn, you lose cybernetics, or you have to get cybernetics because things have gone trauma. I have to assume that gives re-tattooing. So it's just that one-time tattoo. It gives the reuse thing to it.
And that makes, if you think about it, that makes it kind of really, really necessary for your rep. If you've got to pay for those tattoos, then you want to stay alive if you're trying to infiltrate some group.
It's not usually very simple questions like that me and get Algared, but that was just a really good one. So I was just like, oh yeah, someone really thought about that. So yeah, thank you, Ash. Appreciate that.
And this is a really, really simple question, and I think the answer is, but do you know if they're designing any cargo ships for Argo? And to my knowledge, the answer is no.
We had the raft, but it's not really.
Yeah. But are they designing any new? I'm taking that as, are they designing any new ships for?
Maybe wait to CitizenCon.
And
again. All right.
At present, the answer is no, but we can always live in hope.
Yeah.
Wolf Blitzer, with his engineering edition, how much gameplay is there actually going to be? Well, it used to be this deep, and now you can drown.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a lot deeper. Even
You
even if you just look at how deep engineering is going to go, you can, that would be a game in most other cases. Looks like it's going to have multiple games worth of content. Every
yeah
profession's going to be like a game's worth. Yeah, it's
yeah
crazy.
you can very easily, like, as I think back to putting this stuff into Squadron, you can very easily see how you would get 60 hours of gameplay in that single player game, because if you've got to play engineer for a bit,
Yeah.
just trying to keep systems going so the ship can go, it's just going to add. Yeah. Clever Ghost, been doing some hydroponic veggies in real life. Was thinking how easy it would be to program a farming system to utilise nutrient amounts, grow cycles, and troubleshooting for space farming. Thoughts? I think we already see that in game. We see that at the Riari outpost. You've got the internal hydroponic centres.
Yep.
You've got the small centres outside that are growing now and those plants are growing well. Now on Pyro, we've got the farming areas where some of the plants aren't growing too well. We also know that our hydroponic centres on our Endeavours are going to be doing that type of stuff. So
you can even go further, and they've talked about farming outside in Pyro. Different technology levels again.
But the whole gamut is there. So
yeah, agriculture is just something they haven't they've kind of danced around the outside, but you can see it sprinkled through the whole game. It's just something they've just never. I'm just waiting for an agriculture strip to drop, but I think it's more. I don't know. You tell me, Argo, but it seems to be more base.
I think
building orientated, because the only ship that they've really got that does any of it is the Endeavour, obviously. But obviously, at some point, it would be great to have a ship that can transport, like a cargo ship that's designed to transport special plants and stuff.
400i.
Yeah.
The climate controlled
again,
and then
that's a tip of the hat to what I'm talking about. But you get yes.
Yeah, but then you've also got the Caterpillar, which is supposed to have each of those compartments is supposed to be able to be.
But I'm not going to chuck a whole bunch of dirt on the floor, am I?
No.
And you get where I'm going, right? So again, whether they do it in just specialized cargo pods or whatever, and we're already seeing that. Like, if you have a ship, you can do it with cargo, but half the cargo is taken up with something. So the example they gave was like a cold storage one. You can get a cold storage one, but a part of the cargo is taken up by a power thing that actually powers the cargo container. Or I could just get a ship that does that whole thing, or a room like you're suggesting with a Caterpillar that does the whole thing. So there's efficiency levels based into that as well. So more than likely there will be some kind of cargo ship that comes along like the 400i, but instead of just being a little area, the whole thing is essentially it's like the Caterpillar on steroids. Instead of the individual components, the whole cargo bay can be changed to fit.
Yeah. And I could see values for you're over a system that you're trying to grow farm. Your system's not, the plants that you got aren't taking. You bring in your Endeavour. Your Endeavour sits above you and does the experiments. Growing plants in optimal conditions for that system. And
I'm wondering if you could actually just take a normal cargo ship and do that. Could you tweak knowing the engineering that they talked about with the temperatures?
Could you tweak the temperature?
Yeah. Could you just take a normal one and do that? Does it need to be a special cargo ship? Could it just be any cargo ship, but you essentially change the atmosphere? Yeah, but if you would just have to wear a suit when you're in that room. So you live in one area, but then you change the entire atmosphere of the cargo hold to suit your
whatever
transport.
You needed.
Yeah.
That could be possible.
Maybe I've been looking at that wrong.
I could even see them doing things for the animals, the farm animals that you're transport, that need. Yep. I could see you need to take X number of loads of cattle to a farm because they've been wiped out by a copium plague or.
I watched very few episodes of Babylon 5, but the one I remember, or the particular scene I remember, was where the captain had to go talk to some aliens that lived on the station, and they breathed they were in a nitrogen atmosphere or something like that, and so basically he had to put on masks to go in there to talk to them. And I just always remember like other life forms have different atmosphere. So
that sounds like the original.
Maybe
pilot.
that's something with the Cathak. Maybe they are aliens, but they breathe silicon. Who knows? I got no idea.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So that's an interesting one. We'll have to wait and see. Parker XGPS says, with engineering and fire coming, what environmental hazards would you like to see first? Atmo pressure, itemized gas and volumetrics, condensation of water.
What was the question? Sorry, I was reading.
So the engineering and fire coming, what environmental hazards would you like to see come first? Atmospheric pressure, itemized gas, and volumetrics.
Yeah, I'm just keen to see the atmosphere, like the ones they show the grey box where they open the door and everything got sucked out. I'm just interested to see that. I think we all kind of want that a little bit excitedly.
Yeah, I know they said that when you open a door and everything gets sucked out, that we won't see the fire come out the tail, but down the track, I wouldn't be surprised if we do, but initially. But yeah. I think any of that. Being able to seeing what we can control and what we can do with our ships to fix things up or repair damage. I did like the fact that one of the ways you could control fire in your ship was actually to open up and vent. So yeah.
Do you want to take a little bit of break and we'll talk about the shirts?
Yeah, we can talk about the shirts.
So we're trying to get these shirts for the ship team. I realized I didn't put a link in last week for the funding, and so nobody sent any funding. So I was like, oh shit, that's why. But we're also looking at possibly setting up a system where you could buy a shirt for yourself and pay for one for a developer. And I think I just trying to figure out how I should go about this.
Buy one for the price of two. No. Douglas Adams, you know.
I'm just going to do a poll. I've just realized that's how I'm going to do it. So here we go. So do you want to see the shirt or keep it a surprise? That is the poll. Show me. And then the other one will be keep it a surprise. Oh shit. No, I want to type that. I want to type that. Keep it a surprise.
Hello, Ray.
Right.
And hi, Sashly Confused.
/ poll. Sorry, Argo.
That's okay.
Show me. Keep it a surprise. Bang. All right. Poll on Twitch is up. Poll on YouTube is working and up. Right. Let me know. And because that'll dictate what we say next. Right. 80%. All right. Well, is that one vote? Just remember, it's for the ship team, and we kind of want to give it to them as a surprise. So think about who's receiving it.
We wanted it to be a surprise. So
yeah, we wanted it to be a surprise. So it's
probably limited in that at the moment because of the fact that we've talked about it so often and hinted at what it is, but
that's really weird. So on Twitch they want to keep a surprise. On YouTube it's almost split. Oh, man, you've made this even more difficult now because
I will.
They're saying keep it a surprise on Twitch, and they're saying, oh yeah, maybe show me, maybe don't on YouTube. So I'm leaning towards
I will say to our YouTube viewers though, since 150 of you are watching at the moment, hit that like button for us. Let the algorithm know how much how hard we work. So that would be a great help if you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you've never done it. But certainly if you come back and you've never done it because you obviously like what we do. And so please do that. It gives me the warm fuzzy for the day.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards it's almost like a draw, and more towards the don't show. God, this is annoying. So
I would say, given
So what we were thinking about doing is either just fundraising it is the easiest, right? Because then it's less work for me in Algared because as we run up to CitizenCon. But the other way we can do it is you basically pay for 2 shirts, you get to have one, the other goes to the developer. And the other thing that Essay suggested was that we basically because we would need one person for every shirt, that would be there's 52 shirts for them, and then we could probably smack. I was doing the math last night. We'd probably smack your name and my name on there as well, but have everyone's name that donated on the back of the shirt in 3 columns of 18 names. So if I have to go back to Dafty Digits, he did send it to me. I'm gonna have to search for it.
Yeah, I like that.
That was SA's idea. I thought it was a good idea. So this is the back of the shirt. I'll just put this on the browser. So if I, so it'd be like that, and you can see this says, thanks from the Inforunners community, for making the best. I can't even read it now. Was it best damn spaceships in all. And booty in all the verse, but basically then we could have 3 columns because obviously space there, 3 columns of names. So if you help us get a shirt, we can put your name literally on the back of the shirt as well, and that won't cost any extra. It just means after I've got all they've been donated, I just go back to this and basically add all your names, and that's the final shirt. So that's no biggie. I don't know, Algared, what do you take away from those polls? Because it's clearly keep it a surprise on Twitch, and then it's about even on YouTube. Can you see what I see, or you've gone all quiet on me, bro? Can you hear me? Algared, are you there? Oh, is Algared? Algared. Oh, I hit a key and I muted myself, didn't I?
You did.
Like an idiot. How much did you miss?
Everything.
Oh shit. Right. Awkward silence. Great.
Yes, there was. I was just typing.
Yeah. So long story short, your names will go on the back of the shirt. And yeah, so if you donate, they go in the back of the shirt. I don't know how much you missed. Jax, get out of here. I'm working.
It was everything from when you came to the back of a shirt.
All right. So yeah, basically, if you help us buy a shirt for the developer, your name would go on the back of it in 3 columns of 18. That's basically how I worked it out. That's what we're looking at doing. It'll probably be next week because I need help setting that up. I'm trying to get SA to help me, but he's got other shit on at the moment. So if you're anyone that knows anything about printing shirts, Daft Digit, I know you've already gone above and beyond, but basically I need a system where people can donate. The one I was looking at was Custom Ink that SA showed me. So they basically have a system where you can group pay for things. So essentially the shirts would put 55 shirts up, something like that, and that'd be double the price, and then the profit would be turned around and put back in and buy the shirts for the developers. So that's what we're thinking. So you could basically get a shirt, this shirt, and that's where the divvy is, because you're buying a shirt where you don't know what's on the front of it, right? So that's the yeah. You see what I'm
frustration.
saying?
Yeah.
That's the frustration, because we want to keep a surprise. I don't know. I need someone to break the tie here.
Look, I think I think don't show it, but and I think just trust that we have shown it has been shown to Sandy. Sandy said it's funny.
I also
Sandy likes it.
I also showed it to someone else at CIG, and they said that they think John will like it.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So we've been given on good authority. We're going on good authority that it is seen as in good taste.
Yeah.
So we just ask you to trust us on that.
Yeah.
And we're not.
And I also said if you really want to see it, no one ever reached out to me on Discord.
Nope.
So if you really want to see it,
but
reach out to me on Discord and I'll show it to you.
But I'll also say, our goal has never been to embarrass or crap on or
anyone from the ship team. No, it was
it
really was to thank them and be jovial about it. Yeah.
It's not a dig. It's not an insult. It's actually meant as a compliment, as a positive. And like I said, Sandy said it was she liked it. It was funny.
Yeah, and that's how it was meant to be taken.
And that's how it's meant to be taken. So.
So yeah, also you can see just there next to Algared, we've got the Inforunners on this side, but we do have Dafty Digit on the other side. So Dafty is the guy that
did do the
did all this one, and he knocked it out of the park.
He did knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna do a slight change here and go, thank you, Ray, for becoming a basic member on YouTube.
Yep. Ooh, I didn't say that
So,
because I
well
got all
done.
this shit in the way. Yeah, thank you, Ray. Appreciate it.
And if you're watching on Twitch and you haven't subscribed or become a follower before, become a follower and help us break that 2,000 followers bubble.
See, you're better at the promotion shit than I am. I'm terrible at it.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I usually forget, but it's just for some reason that little window's up. I don't know how to get rid of it. So it shows how good I am at Twitch.
Yeah, so if you know anything about t-shirts and you would like to help me, I'd really appreciate it, because both Algared and I are kind of under it at the moment. We've got real life stuff and getting ready to leave. So if you are just what do you call it, a savant at at t-shirts or logistics, please reach out, because I'd love some help, because I'm not business minded, and this is very business orientated, and I'm just struggling. I'm more of a creative type, if you know. God, I'm getting tangled here. Damn cats and cables. Right. I got cats under my feet.
All right, so Twitch Westus says the Corsair does everything. Why didn't they touch it? The Corsair doesn't do everything.
I don't think it does do everything, and I also think it's probably, well, look at the massive wings that it's got on it. That's going to be, it's like a flying target. In other words, Jax, I'm getting really sick of this, bro.
Yeah. You take out the wings on a Corsair, you reduce its firepower quite significantly. You also stuff up its stability in atmosphere, is my guess. I don't think it's going to be as good as people think down the track. I don't think it's going to have as good armor as other ships. Remember, with these changes, armor is coming in.
Yeah.
And so we're going to see that idea that
the glass cannon.
Drake ships are glass cannons. They hit hard, but their armor is weak. It used to be said,
that's deliberately by design, isn't it? They up the guns slightly. What did they say? 90% armor, 110% guns, but that kind of leans more to the piracy thing, because you want to shoot first, because then you have the advantage.
You want to take out the enemy quick, so you go guns. But the downside is your ship is not armored. So, and even their armored ships have less armor than other ships, and so I don't think there's any Drake ship. Well, there's one Drake ship, but is more armored than its competitors, and that's the Cutter, which was more armored than ships its size. That was the big selling point for it.
He just wanted to.
But other than that, I don't think Drake ships are known particularly for having quality armor or quality parts. So I think we have to wait and see the balancing and how that's going to work. And we know from the video, we know from ISC that armor is coming. We even saw it as listed in the components on the MFDs. We even heard them talking about armor. So I think we've just got to wait and see.
Yeah, I can't do a cat cam right now. I don't have the spare arm at the moment. I do need to order another one, because I ended up using the arm for something else.
What he means is he doesn't have a spare
magic arm thing.
Doesn't have a spare arm, like these things, as opposed to a spare arm.
And he's down on the floor. He's like, I got a little bowl like this. He's just drinking water out of this.
Yep. All right. So Rigsy, do you think ships that are having loadout changes will be getting a full rework, i.e. the MSR?
I was just gonna say to Rigsy. He's an Aussie guy.
Sounds like it.
Where the hell was it? Do you think that the ships that are having loadout changes will be getting a full rework? No. I think they will get reworks and updates over time, but the way I looked at this is like, they've never really been working on this game up until this year, and it's just like, okay, so now we're actually got to start working on it. Here are all the changes we're going to make to start. You know, it shows me that they're working on the flight model. They're starting to rebalance the ships. They're all trying to, you know, again, a lot of these ships were not in squadron. They were just designed and sat there on a shelf. And so now they're coming around and actually trying to get them to all work together. That's all it is. It just shows me they're actually starting to work on the game. Or, you know, more past start, you know, they've been working on it all year. You know, and again, look at the flight model they showed off at the end of last year. We haven't seen another thing on that. That's the type of thing I think we're going to see. We're going to actually see ships flying in atmosphere. We'll probably see some kind of combat fight that goes between space and in atmosphere, and the changes. I just take what we saw at last year's CitizenCon that they've never talked about again, and that's the stuff we're going to see or some of the stuff we're going to see because, again, they never talked about it all year, so they've been working on it because they know it's cool, so they've kept it close to their chest for CitizenCon. And we've seen that in previous years, haven't we?
I thought in the ISC, when they did the talk about the ships flying over water and you'd see the water trails and all the rest of it. I thought in the video in ISC when they were doing the ships chasing after each other and shooting, one of the ships flew past water and you had the water spray come up. I could just be dreaming, but
what I mean is, remember how the Gladius was gliding and it had. Yep. That's what I'm talking about.
But you had them flying in atmosphere and flying over water, and you had that same, the whole effects of that coming through just in that video. But they were talking about components and armor and how it would impact.
Yeah, but that's not the same. So flying in atmosphere is still like right now in the game is still pretty much exactly the same space. I'm talking about like more ships using that cool new inner atmosphere flight model, like things like the Corsair. Going back to that's another great example. That actually using its wings to
better fly in atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, right now it's a flying pizza box, like an open pizza box. It's shockingly annoying. But if that actually had a massive benefit, it's the only ship that has huge ass wings on it. How the hell can it not be for in atmosphere? Surely. I'm not that crazy. Well, okay, I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy.
It's a Lambda shuttle flying on its side, so that's why it doesn't fly well.
But again, why would you put huge ass wings on it other than the rule of cool? And that is a massive rule of like a physical benefit where you can actually move through atmosphere, and it sounds like a Drake problem to efficiency. If we just put wings on this thing, it'll be more efficient in atmosphere.
Yeah.
Don't reinvent the wheel. Go back to the year 2000 and use the tech that they used.
Take care, JD 4472. He's had to disappear. So he said goodbye to us.
Well, we won't be far behind you. We're about 15 minutes away until we're done. So
So I can see that, but I also the other thing that I picked up was just the way things they'd been working on in the end in terms of the way we saw the game were also being shown off still. And
okay, yes. All right, rapid fire time, I think, because we've got 15 minutes left. Are we up to death factor?
Run runner? Nope. Run runner says, question, won't the components in the cargo bay just get damaged in a fight as well? If they're on the cargo grid, they may or they may not, depending if they get hit.
That is the dice you roll, as I said before about the headshot thing.
If it's on the cargo grid, and your gravity's there and it's still locked down, no, because they won't be knocked around. If you just place it anywhere,
he's talking about when the bullets go through the ship.
Yep.
So it's not knocking around. It's just like if a bullet happens to go through them, they can be damaged.
Yep. But it's not just a matter of having the extras and just storing them somewhere not on a cargo grid, because then they get bumped around at times. So, but if they're on a cargo grid, unless the ship is breached, you're going to be good.
I think what people are kind of scarily saying now is space is dangerous, and it doesn't matter where you go, there's danger.
And in space, no one can hear you sing. Death factor. Any chance you'd do a combo Fix My Fleet CCU game in order to organise my dumpster fire of a fleet?
Absolutely.
Contact us in game.
Yeah.
Just contact us. Send us
via Discord or actually, it's not about contact us. There is a whole channel dedicated to Fix My Fleet. Go in there, and if it's seen as worthwhile enough, it is usually brought up to our attention. So start there and work your way up.
And then if we can, and then it's a matter of finding a time that suits you and us.
Yep.
Where we're not doing our live stream.
All right, rapid fire time. Scott Rinse and Repeat says, question, what is the best advice you have for someone currently installing the game for the first time? Man, get someone to take you into the game. I had a friend that went into the game recently, and it was literally, this person has got some mental health issues, but they were basically raging about that they couldn't pick up a can. And I'm like, yeah, but this is why you get someone to take you. And I told him to wait, and he didn't wait. And so now he's all pissed off because he doesn't like the controls, and it's like, well, you never let me explain them to you, so you don't understand.
Yeah, get a friend to go through with you, and even if you
Got some more, do you? Oh, here we go.
get a friend, join the game on them. Don't even spawn your ship. Just go to the same place they are.
Put up this high enough. Can you lick? No, you can't. You can't lick that high enough, so they can't see you. Hang on. If I hold you up like this, will you lick it? Will you lick it? No, you won't lick it. Okay, I'll put you down.
Okay. All right. So, Red Samurai, thoughts on the content that will be shown at CitizenCon?
I think we just talked about that.
We've talked about that. Gideon Sanders, hello, my friends from down under. I have a question. Is there any way we can meet up with you during CitizenCon? Do you have some spot on the floor? No, we're going to be wandering around where we hang out in CitizenCon. But will you be able to meet up with us? Yes.
Yes, but we will have a spot on the floor.
Oh yes, we will have a spot on the floor near our router.
We don't, because we've got a dedicated router for our internet connection. So wherever that is, and we've asked them to put in the content creator area. So yeah, somewhere near the content creator area. But we'll have time to meet you. Not just in the con, but outside the con. As I said, we're there for a week. So if you're there beforehand, I've signed up to every bar citizen that was there. For both me and Algared, I've got. Did you get the tickets? They sent them to me. Did they send them to you?
I think I saw one come through, but I don't know.
Well, it should be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will have to double check.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll be doing that, and then there's also strike if worst comes to worst, and people really wanted to meet us. There's, I suppose, the dining room or the pub nearby our hotel. So there's plenty of options, and I'm sure we'll find something.
If you want an Algared autograph, you've got to bring a sticker Evercrack though. So it's not free. I'll do them for free, but Algared charges for Evercrack. So yeah.
Well, you got
to just fix some. Fix somehow.
Evercrack's the most important ingredient. I swear I'm suffering from Evercrack withdrawals at the moment.
Yes.
I am out of coffee.
I knew you were going to say that. I just knew it. I knew that's where that was going. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mum Spaghetti says, any idea if we'll get any news about NPC crews? Hyped to be able to make a dream crew like Mass Effect or SMG. When it's coming.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about it. So.
Yeah. The Glass Sword. Do you think they timed the new stubby beards for No Shave November? No, I think it was just came in because they wanted more things that wasn't in Squadron, basically. Because again, you'd have kind of preset characters for Squadron, where here it's more tailored. And they probably went back and put the stubble in and the different hairstyles back into Squadron as well. Again, more polishing.
Father and son playing games. What do you think? When can we finally use the old hanger flares from back in the day? I don't know. It'd be nice to be able to put posters up in my personal hanger or
just give
stuff down.
It's a priority, and I'd rather have a functional hanger than be able to decorate my hanger. And I know there's a lot of streamers that are doing that right now, and that's their jam. That's totally up to them. But again, function before form.
And I'd love to be able to put down my holographic model of Olisar.
This is the slowest rapid fire we've ever done. I'm taking over this ship. We are rapid firing now. All right, Gideon Sanders says, question, I listened to all the office hours Paul did last few weeks. He talked about 4.0 release at CitizenCon. What are your stance on that? Algared, take that one.
Sounds fair.
Yep. I think that was their initial plan. It's probably been pushed back a little bit, but that was best intent as usual.
Yep.
Right.
What is the best value ship for solo combat?
What is the best value for solo combat?
Yeah, I just asked that.
No, hey, I do it faster than you. That's why I'm doing it. Right. You've done them all day. I lead all the questions. Now I take over. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm going to rest.
What is the best value ship for solo combat? I'd say the Arrow.
Arrow does get a lot of press. I don't do a lot of solo combat, so I can't really.
It's one of the cheapest, so that's why I think it kind of wins. It's good and it's cheap.
But it's got the range that the Furies and that don't have. I'm going to say that. I think I'd have to ask the solo fighter guys what the best ship is at the moment. I don't know. I don't do solo fighting.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go Arrow. And that's from the PV people I talked to. Right. Volta, what's it call it? Father and Son Gaming, but it says Volta. What do you think? When can we use multi-crew ships with NPC crew?
When they're done.
Limited functionality soon. I just it is hinted at, but it's going to roll out in steps, as we said earlier. Sir Mattis says, question: outside of ship engineering, what do you think the repair part will do to the salvage market? Algared, I'll let you take that one.
It will increase the value of salvage goods because you'll get salvage goods, and the engineers or repair guys will be using those to repair ships.
Yeah, but you'll also grab the components to repair and sell.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep, agreed. John Walters, how is the carrot going to repair components if the size 3 counts can be moved? As we said, subcomponents, we answered this earlier. Colton NP, or Colton P, I think that is, yeah. While very interested in the upcoming gameplay, engineering, etc., with my corp org mates, I think he means, not corp mates. Oh, corpse, he could be an army guy. Mates, in the conclusion, the spontaneous gameplay will not be a thing without compromising what I can do. I think that's not a question. Wait, hang on. While I'm very interested in the upcoming gameplay, engineering, etc., with my corp mates, coming to the conclusion that the spontaneous gameplay will not be a thing comparing what can I do. The spontaneous gameplay will not be a thing
without compromising what I can do.
It's a very wordy question.
I think the question is, will the gameplay of engineering inhibit me doing the things I want to do?
So he's saying spontaneous gameplay won't be a thing. It almost sounds like he's thinking that everything has to be planned. Is how I'm reading that.
Yeah, look, I think there's if you go out in your ship and you've got, you make sure you've got your multi-tool with repair goo in it. You can go out and do stuff, and if the crap hits the fan, then you...
But again, if you're going out in a combat ship, it's not as if you're planning for a mining mission. You know what I mean? You're in the right ship for the right job. So again,
make sure you've got the right tools.
Yeah, aren't you going to land and change ships to go do something else? So what I'm hearing is I don't have enough ships for every single job, but there is no perfect ship for every single job. It's a very... I don't mean to say this in some way, but it's almost like an overthought question. If you can rewrite that, Colton, I would love to I'd even love to talk to you directly, but
it is a difficult one to understand.
It's very wordy. So just break it down to simplify it for me. That would be great. As you saw, both Algared and I had to reread it like 3 times.
Chris says it sounds like he's saying that you have to organize people to get everything scheduled for people to gather, and that's harder to do, and it's just blows up the spontaneity.
Again, you've got NPCs. Again, people are going to have to learn different things and change between. Again, what happens when the shit hits the fan and the whole scenario changes? Yeah, you're going to have to change things.
Yep. I think everything comes down to doing the pickup crews. I need an engineer. I need a and I think that's literally what it'll come down to. You'll have people calling out, I need an engineer, I need a gunner, I need a...
Well, again, Colton, we didn't make the word limit. That was YouTube. Blame them. Yeah. Sorry, Colton. But reach out via Discord. But do we have the basics right, though? You're essentially saying that there's too much... You're worried that engineering makes it too hard to plan, so therefore all you're doing is planning and not playing. That's kind of what I'm getting. So yeah, again, if you want to talk about it, Colton, reach out. But yeah, from what I'm saying, I don't think that's the case. Otherwise, it wouldn't be very fun either, just on a basic level. Damon on me bus question: if the Terrapin has an advanced scanners, why is it not listed in SC Wiki overlooked? I don't think it's advanced scanners. I think it's really just 2 scanners at once, and they're a size up above the ships of that size. That's what it means, as far as I can tell. Agra, would you agree with that, or?
From what we know so far, yes. We know that it's got scanners. We know it's got the scanners are bigger than ships its size, so that makes them advanced.
Yep.
We don't know the brand. I don't know if we know the brand of the scanners that are in them or how good they are, but they are size. They're bigger, and it's got the extra amount for
second one
for scanners as well. So that gives it an advantage.
Implying different scanners do different types, so we can take 2 types where other ships only have the one. So Mattis, question, do you think that the changes here will allow a positive effect as opposing stopping the negative overclocking weapons and shields to make the ship more effectively temporary? I have to assume he's talking about the component changes. Context in a question is excellently great when you're getting to an hour later.
Yeah, I'm going to say yeah. I think that the ability to overpower your shields or weapons is going to have an impact. I think making sure they're good, making sure you've got the bits in them.
In the video, you could see there was almost like a line. You know, had the columns, little cubes or whatever. You could see a line, and I assume that means when you go over, you're going into the overclocking state. And they also kind of mentioned through the things they said that essentially overclocking increases the rate at which it can take damage. So there's like an optimal line and then a line that you cross to get more out of them, but then you're pushing it beyond where it's meant to go, so it's going to more likely break.
Yeah, and there's also tied in with that as you put more power into it to give it more ability, it also overheated more. Exactly. And so once it overheated too much, it's not working. So you needed to. So the balancing of that power allocation really becomes a thing. So
it's a juggling act between all the different types of components and stuff. Yeah. Volta or Father and Son Gaming, do you want your name in game? Yeah, sure. Why not? Except if Pistol Pete's here, it's Cyan. That's his girlfriend's name now. Cyan. It's like Diane, but with a Z. Cyan, because apparently with my Aussie accent, I call it Cyan instead of Jean or Zion. Isn't it?
Well, I call it Zion. I used to call it Zion but I believe it's supposed to be Jean.
No, there's two. No, there's two different pronunciations, right? There is the military and the civilian, and they call it. It's with a Z is the military, and it's an X or Jean when it's the thing. But because of my Aussie accent, it comes out like a Z, and it says Zai instead of Jean. So it's Zion. So it's with an A or an O basically, but because it's like when we say June and people think we're talking about the month, but it's actually a D. So we're saying Dune, but it's because of our accent, it comes off like June.
Yeah.
So
June.
Yeah. It's fine. Different. Again, as long as you understand the words coming out of my mouth, how does it matter how I say it?
Gion. You know? Yeah, Sparkplug says Gion is another way he says it, but yeah.
Absolutely. I could see Germans saying it like that because they got the German accent. John. Yeah, John. I can see that. Absolutely. Yeah.
But yes, in answer to that question, yes, why not? Next question.
It's a bad lol. I am a pirate with a small Sorry?
I was going to say it's diabolical, but no, it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Question. I am a pirate with a small, loyal group of followers. What should my personal daily driver be? The M50 or the Talon Strike? I will be with two others at all times. Yeah, dude, the Corsair, 100%.
Well, do whatever you like.
Yeah, do whatever you like. But again, like you said, pirate, I'd be going Corsair and earn down to the ships that you just mentioned. And again, if there's three of you, want it all pull in together, put the resources in, buy one, and buy a ship for each of you underneath. If you can do that.
Yeah.
But big and earn down every time.
Given you got the So are you asking, should your daily driver be the M50 or the Talon Strike?
The other option is you've already made up your mind. Why are you asking us? Again, you said pirate. I'd just go a ship that you can all work together and earn down. And if it's not the Corsair, take your pick of which one. But yeah, bigger and earn down. Max's old TV says, question, do you see a possible Polaris variant? Absolutely possible. But again, I could also not see it. It's what they want to do. Did you see the Saber variants coming out, Grid? I didn't.
No.
You know,
I saw a Saber variant coming out so that they could get a Saber Raven.
Yeah, but after they kind of hinted at it. But before that, no, I did not see it coming.
I could see one. Because the Saber Raven itself was under that contracty type thing, so the element of it had to remain the same. But I did see them making one that was basically a mirror image of it.
Yeah.
Minus a skin or minus something, but yeah.
It's bad, lol says, should the captain be the first engineer? No, because the captain is kind of dictating, and he's kind of like he's the master of all, jack of all. That's what I call master of all. The jack of all trades, master of none. He's overseeing everything and kind of going, all right, you need to do this, you need to do that. But he's not actually doing it. That's what captains do. They essentially
But
A
I
little
think
bit
I
of
see
everything.
where I can see where it's coming from, because they're saying if you don't know the role, you can't direct the role. So
Yeah, at some
you
point.
want to have gone through the engineering process and know the ship and know how to fix it and all the rest of it. And then,
but then on really big ships, like look at Janeway or you know, whatever Star Trek captain, they didn't do that. All that they rely on their team to do that.
And so, but there's an element where you start doing that with your smaller ship, but then by the time you're in a Javelin or whatever, if you're the captain, you're saying, okay, engineering team, I'm going to need this and this as a priority, but keep us going.
Or it could be a smartass and say, on a cutter, you are the captain and you are the engineer.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's why I said on small ships you are doing that.
Yeah.
And then as you go up, you kind of move away from it.
That one we've already done. So Marzol question, do you think the NPC in the future should spawn with the ship or have come aboard? So we've actually speculated on this. If you go into the hangar, much like where we talked about the cargo elevators and they all became true, we also talked about there are doors or spawn closets for NPCs. So they would come out, walk over the cargo elevator, put your cargo on and go back, but also they might come out and go on your ship.
Yeah. So
it's all in there. If you go look, you can walk around and you can see repair areas, cargo area. They're all there.
And you can see that the NPC crew, if you've got them, they'll come out of those elevators and they'll join your ship at that point, or they'll go back. They'll leave your crew and they'll go back into the cargo elevator.
Refueling as well, and ammo and supplies. They were there as well, weren't they?
You can see that your NPC crew died. He's been respawned back at wherever his home was, and then you've got to re-employ him or get someone else.
And you might get a bad rating because you let him die. I don't know.
Yep.
We have a lot of questions from the same person
we do.
here. Wait. It's Badlaw says, since toilets are confirmed, should I fold or crumble? I don't get that. Oh, the toilet paper, fold or crumble.
You didn't. Oh, dear me.
Well, it's personal preference, man.
Personal preference.
I'm a folder, but I'm classy like that, so
I think it depends on what CIG you allow. Obviously, if you're on a Drake ship, you're crumpling. Yeah. And if you're on a...
And who said there's toilet paper in space? It might just be air assisted,
And if you're on an origin ship, you're using a bidet.
Yeah, or what do you call it? The bidet. The bidet.
Yeah. Bidet. Yeah, that thing.
I know it's that because my mum had one. Anyway.
Oh, there you go. I'm
going to sneeze. Hold on. Excuse me. Right. Maxwell's got 3 questions here. So the first one is, do you think we should have docking access inside our hangar to not be jammed at the same ship elevator? Docking access. Wait, hang on. Do you think we should have docking access inside our hangar? I don't kind of get the question. Docking
I think he wants to be able to.
Ship.
Yeah, I think he wants to be able to get a small ship, move it, get the other one kind of dock to it or do whatever. So I'm guessing that idea.
Yeah, I think we're going to get that with vehicles. I think we'll end up having a vehicle elevator, or at least the ability to bring up the vehicles on, because we saw them on the cargo elevator at one point, if you remember.
Yeah.
And they're not there now. So I think that's what they're leaning towards. We'll eventually be able to just spawn them up in the cargo elevator and drive them on.
Yeah.
Next question he said was, do you think we could access the hangar control view room at the second level of the hangar? Kind of was hinted about that in the Revel in York and the Air Review back in the day. So yes, potentially. Then do you think the hangar will need some engineering system gameplay? Yeah, absolutely. They talked about that for the engineers when they talked about it the last one. They said there'll be kind of like before you go on, during, and repairing and maintenance and stuff like that. So yes, setting the ship up is a part of it. Yeah.
I hope you'll have that, because you'll remember one of the hangar flares that we had for the old hangars was our workshop table, which enabled you to repair and do things and modify ships. So
it's bad. Lol says, if I buy a Javelin, will I be needed by orgs? Unless they've got their own. The other way I can look at it is, don't go buy a ship in hopes that you're going to make friends, because there's 2 parts to that. One is, they probably do need the ships, but they could also use you. The other part is, like, you've got to be a friendly person yourself. So, and again, you could have no ships and just be friendly and go hop on their ships as well. So
Yeah, if you're friendly, you're welcome to join me on one of mine.
yeah. So yeah, you got to wear a red shirt though, and for no reason, just you just got to wear a red shirt.
NPCs are red.
Yeah. What do the humans wear? Yellow.
Yellow, or no, it depends on which color command is. Blue.
In what order they want to die? Yeah. It depends on what order you want to die.
No, it's engineering.
Just stand over here next to this airlock near these dead uwu girls, and I swear nothing bad will happen. Yeah. Yeah.
If it was an airlock, there's no dead uwu girls because they've already been sucked out.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say something else there, but I'll say nothing.
Yes.
Ishua AV says, due to personal stuff, I couldn't get the Zeus CL with LTI last year. I only could get the 6 months insurance. Well, dude, ask around. There are some people that have CCUs, but also if you're happy to pay a little bit extra, whatever that price is, you can get it with LTI. So you could just pick up an LTI token, wait till it comes out, and pay an extra $20 and get it with LTI.
Yep.
And I played it. I placed in my buyback question: is that your recommendation? Getting a CCU or getting the buyback for 150? It's entirely up to what you can afford, man. If it's the only ship you got, LTI is nice to have, but it's only worth about $15. Is what they value it at. So again,
I would, look, knowing that we've got a starter ship coming, if you want it with LTI, buy a little ship and use the upgrade to get it. And if you use Warbond, you might be able to get it cheaper.
Yeah, go into general chat. I did this last week for someone. Go into general chat and just type in, does anyone have a CCU I can buy off them for the CL, and just buy the CCU and sit on it. And then all you have to do is buy, when you've got the money, buy an LTI token. So right now the ATLS is out for $35. You could buy that, have the LTI token, and then so you got the LTI token and you've got your CCU, and then when you've got the money, just connect the two together. And if you've got clever enough, you can buy Warbond CCUs and get the price down even more. So just buy the endpoints.
And use your credits you've got to fill in any gaps that you left over with your Warbond.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, right. if you're saying you're stuck with only $100 and that's all, $150 and that's all you can spend, then
yep. Well, you're gonna have to spend extra anyway, so you're probably almost better just to get it with that LTI. Like it's a bit of a.
It's never easy.
Yeah.
Okay, last 3 questions.
Yeah. All right, I'll let you take the next one. Go for it.
Right, Maxwell TV says, do you think our personal hangars could turn into fire?
Can they be set on fire? Absolutely. I reckon the whole stations will eventually be able to set on fire. I think everything will be able to set on fire eventually. Why not?
Yeah, well yeah. I think
it adds more gameplay, doesn't it?
Why not? Yep. Social confused. Will we have radiation leaks inside our ships? Probably.
Yeah.
I don't think it's there yet, but if biohazards and stuff, I can see it being there. And the last question is Shinobit Trip says, out of the flyable ships, which one would you want to be brought up to the Zeus standard first? Constellation.
In a weird way, yes, but in another way, I'd also leave them to leave it to later so it gets more polished.
Yeah,
it's a tough one.
It is always a tough one because in a year's time, there's going to be a new ship standard.
Yeah.
And that means ships that haven't been updated first will be done first. So yeah, it is a tough one, but I'd love to see Connie get the love it deserves. I'd love to see the Connie Phoenix. Fix the Connie Phoenix.
In a weird way, it's kind of whatever is more deserving, and let's be honest, they're going to put them on new ships. They're not going to put them on old ones. So it's going to be like the Guardian or the Fat Fury. Like, it's not what we want; it's what's best for the game. And unfortunately, that's always. But they've already planned it out. Yeah.
As Shinotrip says, when they're going back and doing the livable for flyable ships, which one would you like to see done first? My first thought is the constellation. I'd love to see the constellation Phoenix brought up to the way it's supposed to be.
Those older ones from way back in the day. All of them.
But as you said, you know, the longer they leave it, the better it is in the end. So, but yeah, and that's it. That's our last question.
You know what? The bot's closed again. I wonder if that's something it's doing now. So maybe it was cut off. All right, we're going to be rating...
Well, I hope it wasn't the bot cutting off, and that means there's 50 million questions that have been lost.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to be rating the Astropub. Him and Loken are playing. They're both Inforunners, so say hello to Loken for us when you say hello to Paul. Tell Paul I need to talk to him. Tell him to reach out to me. I do need to talk to him this weekend if he can make time. So with that then, Twitch say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube say goodbye to Twitch. And they're gone. I made that quick.
Okay.
I didn't even give you time to say goodbye. Right.
No, you didn't.
With that then, don't forget to like and subscribe, ring that notification bell. Thank you to everyone that went the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I know I did. I know Algared did. And with that then, he's been Algared.
He's been Execute. And you guys are going to go join the stream with Paul as well.
Yes, I've done a redirect on that one as well. So yeah, enjoy. See you, citizens.